I'm Tally.
And I'm Shay.
And we are
Litlibations. And we're in the smoke.
We're in the smoke.
We're in the smoke.
We're in the smoke.
We're doing Uglies Part 2 by Scott Westerfeld.
Uglies.
Part 2 by
Scott Westerfeld.
Get it in your brain.
Yeah.
Okay, before we start, go check out our website, litlibations.com.
Mm-hmm.
Go join the Patreon. What is that called? It's patreon.com/litlibationnation. We don't have a lot going on right now, but if you want to support us, go join.
Please. Yeah, we will soon though. We are. I know we said this.
We're talking a lot about
working
it. Yeah.
on the logistics.
Yes.
It really is just about like finding time right now.
To record.
Yeah, busy
That's
schedules. Times.
Yeah.
It's just a lot.
Yeah.
So we'll get it figured out.
Yeah.
I promise.
Yeah.
And we do have a good plan moving forward.
Yeah. Oh, it's so fun.
I wanted to give a quick shout out because we got a shout out and I'm obsessed to It's Fate podcast. It's Fate podcast. They're amazing. They are actually one of the first or probably the first podcast duo group that we kind of have interacted with since we've started this.
Yeah, like through TikTok.
And they are so nice, so kind. Like, I don't know. I'm just obsessed with them.
Yeah.
They're so sweet.
I follow them closely.
Yeah.
We do.
Don't say it in a weird way. We follow them closely.
It's not.
I know where they live. No, I'm joking. No, they're super awesome. They're really funny. If you like more of the like fantasy type feel, that's definitely the podcast for you. And they do little mini series, which I think is so cute. Where they have their friends, I believe. I think it's their friends.
I think so, yeah.
Guest on the podcast. And I love that. It just brings a little bit of a new like
Dynamic,
dynamic, opinions, just to what they're doing, which I'm absolutely obsessed with. And yeah, I love them a lot.
And they do a lot of like popular trends on TikTok, but like they make them bookish and they're really clever and really funny. And I think they're really good.
Yeah, no, they're so good at that.
And I want to be like that. I want to do that, but I just can't.
Yeah, like what are the trends? I feel like a grandma sometimes. No, they're super good. I just wanted to give like a quick little shout out to that.
Yeah. So hi, it's Fate.
I love
that
they have a community, like I believe so, with just other podcasting like people as well. And I just think that having a community, especially when you're new at something and starting something, is so important.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're super great. So
yeah,
obsessed.
That was really nice. So thank you.
What are we drinking?
We're drinking a s'mores martini, I believe is what it is. It has whipped vodka, regular vodka, chocolate liqueur, and half and half what it should be, heavy cream.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay. Listen.
It's fine. It was supposed to be like a whipped topping for the top, but it all went inside and it doesn't matter. It tastes great.
I got heavy cream because I just listen.
You got half and half.
I got half and half because here's what I did. Okay. So I was at the liquor store and I was like, do I really want to go to the other store? No, I don't.
No,
I was like, well, maybe it'll be at the dollar store. If it's not at the dollar store, when I get graham crackers, then I'll just get this heavy cream because it's half and half, and it'll probably be the same thing more than likely. And it wasn't. It ended up not being the same thing.
Which is fine. It still tastes good. And Kylie toasted some marshmallows for us with a torch that I found in my garage.
Oh my God. And I didn't die. That was so nice.
Yeah, it was really good. It looks, the kitchen smells amazing.
Yeah.
The drink is good.
Yeah. So here we go. It's strong. I like it.
It is a martini, so you know the half and half is the only thing that's not alcoholic.
Yeah, I think I misjudged. I need to stir.
I stirred with my marshmallow.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah, how do I incorporate the marshmallow into this? I want to bite the marshmallow and drink it.
Yeah, I would say like let it soak up and then eat it.
Oh, that's a genius idea. Oh my God. Roast it like a spit. All right.
Just some imagery for you.
Oh my God, maybe we should write a book.
We already talked about that. We're going
to eventually write a book. I have the perfect premise for a book that you've ever heard in your entire life. You already heard this? You already heard it?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. It's a secret.
Okay, imagine a world.
Oh, okay. It's not a secret.
No, we'll keep that secret. It'll come out in 5 to 6 years.
You know what? It's a world that you're gonna have to imagine.
Yeah, it's in the works. And when I say in the works, Very early.
It's in our head.
It's in our heads.
There's only like a couple things written down.
No other stages going on. One stage, that's it.
We got to get like into a really nice groove with this before we can do that.
Oh, 110%.
Yeah.
I got to learn how to write too. No, you can write.
Yeah, I'll write
You
it.
got the writing.
No, I'm not saying I'm a good writer, but it would be fun. I would love to try it.
We'd be like the perfect Verity duo because like you'd be like the writer, like Lowen, the writer type deal. But like I feel like I could do 100% do like the marketing stuff.
Oh, okay.
We're like a 2-man team.
Okay, yeah.
And no one would ever feel uncomfortable.
And there's no Verities or Jeremys.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's okay. That's yes. But
I'm
saying
where
the
you're
way
going.
Lowen doesn't like to do any of like the
True, yeah.
meet and greets, whatever.
Yeah, it is tough for me, yeah.
Yeah, I could easily do that.
That would be so great. Let's do it. I mean,
The only thing I couldn't do is read from the book when they have to do that. That's
like a live
reading. That actually sounds like my nightmare. That sounds worse to me than like showing up at a school with no clothes on. Doing a live reading. I can't read live. I'm going to stutter 100 times.
Paragraphs.
I'm
you
like,
could do it.
No, I can't. Have you ever heard? I wish you guys could hear the unedited version of this because it's painful. It's literally painful.
It's so funny. Oh my gosh. Maybe we should put those on Patreon.
Oh, they would hate it.
Yeah,
they couldn't get through the first 10 minutes.
Then they would unfollow the podcast.
It's hard for me to listen as I'm editing. I'm like, oh my God, you need to go back to school. I'm like looking at myself. I'm like, you are a fuck up. And I hate you. And the drinks don't work like help at all.
Oh no. But it makes it so much more fun. Update on Maisie. She got spayed and she got a dental on Wednesday, and we were recording on a Friday. I think. Oh, maybe it was Tuesday. She's doing great. She's doing great. They didn't give us a cone or anything for her not to lick the stitches, but she's only licked them a couple times. I can distract her easily with a toy. She's doing great. Look at her. She's eating a bone right now, which she hasn't done.
She played with Brutus.
Yeah, she played with my other dog. And by the way, Brutus has a new heart murmur.
That's not good.
I know. I took him in because he had a lump under his jaw, which I know can mean an infection.
Yeah.
And then they x-rayed his heart and his chest, but it's all clear. So we're not doing anything right now. He's good.
Okay.
He's good.
Okay. Oh my God.
Everything's good.
Can you lead with that next time?
Yeah, Brutus is good, but well, it scared me too.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, everyone's on meds, but everyone's doing
good. Everyone's on meds.
Everyone is.
Oh no.
For things, but everyone's doing so much better because of the meds. So,
are we ready to dive into Uglies Part 2?
Yes, let's get into it.
I feel so distracted. This is why I literally cannot read 2 books at one time because my mind. I need to like hone back into Uglies because the last book I read was It Ends With Us trying to catch up for Patreon, and I am like, okay, now I got to get back into that.
Yeah,
and like remember. Like the world, the lore, like the details that I want to know.
That's so funny because I just finished Pretties as you were walking in.
Did you?
Yeah. Oh so now it's on my mind.
I love. Okay, good. Okay, well,
yeah.
At least one.
So we're gonna zero back into Uglies.
Okay, hold on. Let's take a moment.
Uglies.
That shouldn't be hard for me, but that's. Did you get the joke?
Yeah. No.
Like Uglies. It shouldn't be hard for me. I just.
Oh my gosh.
I'll cut it.
They're not ugly. Do you remember where we left off?
No.
We just talked about it.
We just talked about it.
I'm just asking because I have it written down.
Okay.
I wasn't trying to put you on the spot.
No. Okay, raise my hand. Okay.
So Tally just got to the smoke, was introduced to the boss. She immediately understands how big and important the smoke is to the people that live there, especially David. They had lunch. She enjoys telling her stories. Everyone's like, oh, I'm so interested in her stories. Mm-hmm. Then they go to work pulling up railroad ties with power jacks to lug back to the smoke. And she is like having fun with that.
I just want to say how relatable it is that Tally loves the attention when she's talking about her stories. And I just think this is like such a like key detail of like 16-year-olds especially.
Yeah.
Because this is like a maybe like a little bit of insecurity type deal, like when you're young and you're just like, oh my God, yeah, eat up my story. You're like embellishing a little bit because you're like, yeah, like it was hard, but I do like it.
That's what the extras is about. So they have like most popular people on like the whole world. They have like a list, and all the people, like all the characters are trying to get higher on the list, and the way you get higher is when people talk about you and they say your name. So every time they say your name, you get like higher on this list.
Oh my God, that's
of popularity.
Crazy.
So they like have these feeds and they like do it. What sounds like TikToks. and they like try to get popular and try to go up the ranks.
Well, and it does make sense because like you're told up until you're 16 that you're the ugliest person in the world.
Yeah.
And then you have an operation where it's like, then you're pretty, you finally have like some sort of popularity validation or in some cases, like now it's like, since everyone's pretty in the world that you live in, everyone's attractive. How do you set yourself apart?
Yeah. And that's what that's all about. So it is really interesting, but it's like nothing to do with this trilogy.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Chapter 26. Tally's hands are messed up. She couldn't believe how red and raw and painful and blistery they are. David sees how fucked her hands are and invites her to take a break with him in a hoverboard to scout for a new line to scavenge, and she's happy to get on a board. As they're riding, Tally notices his clothes are all handmade.
That's crazy.
What if they're made out of real leather? It's like insufferable for her. She can't think about it.
It'd be insufferable for PETA. Like the organization.
No, not the Hunger Games. I thought PETA from the Hunger Games. Damn it. I love him. Anyways, he takes her to where the railroad goes into the mountain, into a partially collapsed tunnel. They have to crawl to get in there, and it's spooky, and Tally imagines trainloads of dead Rusties in there. There's a lot of free railroad track just waiting to be harvested, but there's 100 tons of rocks in the way, but the work to clear the rock would be worth it to David. Then David confronts Tally. He can see that she's struggling with the whole idea of the smoke. She's scared that he figured out that she was a spy, but she admits that she's not sure. Yeah, she's like, I'm not really sure about the smoke. And David likes that because for him, that means Tally is taking the smoke seriously. For a lot of new smokies, it's just a fun trick. Even Shay doesn't seem to get how deadly serious the smoke is, but he can tell that Tally is different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she is. Quote, I agree.
Quote, it's dangerous out here. The cities are like these boulders. They may seem solid, but if you start messing with them, the whole pile could crumble.
Agreed.
Which is like a huge metaphor.
I don't disagree. I think this is a very true thing. Yeah.
Tally says she is starting to understand, but she doesn't understand why the city cares so much about them. David said it's a long story, but it's a very serious secret. She says, you can trust me, knowing full well she's the last person that he should be trusting. Yeah. And then David reveals that he is not a runaway. His parents were the runaways, and he was born and raised in the smoke. Tally is blown away. She never thought people could raise children out here, and she feels a little foolish for never having thought that before. Then he says his parents were pretty, but they're not anymore. Because they're doctors, they reversed their operations, but not with surgery. Tally's mind is spinning, and David's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have told you all that. That was a lot. I'm so sorry. She's like, what? They cut into each other? But Tally is just glad that he told her. Things just got a lot more complicated for her. She realizes that if she activated the pendant, it wouldn't just be the end of Shay's big adventure. David's whole life would be stripped away from him, along with everyone else that calls the smoke home. Ugh, poor Tally.
Ugh, poor David.
Oh my
David.
God, yeah.
Poor David.
Well, he doesn't have a sister. Too bad. Chapter 27, Heartthrob. At the dinner fire that night, Tally tells everyone the story of how she hid in the river when she first saw the helicopter. She's loving the attention and mentions how the helicopter had destroyed her sleeping bag. And Croy is like, oh, that's so crazy. Where did you sleep then? And she almost says it was only one night, but remembers she was supposed to be out there for 4 nights. And so she was like, oh, it was warm enough. It was fine. Croy is very skeptical of her, rightfully so.
This is a mistake that I would have made.
Oh, for sure.
I'd be like, I wouldn't have even caught myself.
Like, well, I was only out there for one night. It was fine.
Yeah, literally, I was literally fine.
It was so easy.
Do the math, you stupid idiot. I was fine. Wait, oh, that's me. Oh, shit. It wasn't one night. I was 9. Wait, hold on. How many nights?
Told on yourself.
Shit.
The math would be so hard to keep up on. Oh, my gosh.
So hard.
Everyone else is blind to Tally because of how cool she is, it seems. But Shay offers to take Tally to the trading post to get a new sleeping bag because she is going to need one. At the trading post, Tally is fascinated by the handmade stuff. The city-made stuff was just so boring. She traded 12 packets. This is more math. Okay, 12 packets of Spag Bowl for a sleeping bag, 6 for a beautiful handmade sweater.
That's a lot of Spag Bowl.
Yeah, it is. That leaves with 8 packets of Spag Bowl. After shopping, Shay says, hey, what were you going to tell me in the library when the boss yelled at us? Like you were about to tell me something. Tally starts panicking about the smoke and being pretty and what a predicament she's in. And she tells Shay, yeah, I haven't told you everything. And then Shay gives Tally the perfect excuse by guessing Tally is upset because she didn't keep the smoke a secret. And she told whoever gave her that heart necklace. And she's like, kind of. And Shay just giggles and guesses again that Tally left this mystery person coded instructions and she's waiting on that person. And that's why she's so nervous. And Tally's like, almost.
You're super warm.
So close.
Super, super warm.
Then Shay says, relax, Tally. It's totally fine. I literally did the same exact thing when I told you about the smoke. And that turned out fine, see?
Uh-huh.
And then she said Shay had promised David not to tell anyone about the smoke. And she wasn't supposed to, but she did, which kind of blows Tally's mind. She's like, you weren't supposed to do that? That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, so this is your fault.
Oh, thank God.
Thank God. Thank God I can take this heaping guilt off my shoulders.
Yeah. Then Shay tells Tally a lot of the other Smokies don't trust her. They don't trust Tally. And she's like, oh, shit. Tally wishes she'd activated the pendant the moment she got there. And then Shay goes on a rant about how she thinks everyone in the smoke is too paranoid. They spend all this time disguising the place so satellites can't see it. And they mask the headphone transmissions so they won't be intercepted. The secrecy is just way overdone. Everyone here's so stupid. And then Tally's like, I don't know. Did you ever think that maybe they know exactly what they're doing, Shay? Did you ever think that?
Do you ever think that maybe you're 16 years old and stupid?
Yeah. Like, why would you question these people that have been here for like 20 years?
What the fuck?
Then Shay again guesses Tally feels guilty because she maybe has led someone here and she's not even sure about the smoke yet. Because they're both kind of being so open and vulnerable, Tally is afraid she's about to tell Shay the truth about her being a spy, and Shay was the fool who had led her here. Tally has tears in her eyes that Shay misinterprets, but Shay tells Tally she's just glad she's here. She didn't mean to unload all of her feelings on her. She just had felt distant from Tally since she arrived. Tally cries in earnest now, half happy she'd seen a glimpse of how much bigger the world actually is, and half wishing she activated the pendant already.
Shay is insufferable during this
Gosh,
conversation.
yes.
Because not only because like she completely disregards 20 years of experience in the woods
What the heck?
as a Smoky, but also because, and the fact that she disregarded the simple instructions that David gave her.
Yeah.
And this is a big gripe for me, and I've complained about this to Corey about a billion times.
Mm-hmm.
She is so young and so
I feel like that's all you have to say.
flighty. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, she's just young.
She's so young. She doesn't fully grasp what the Smokies is, right?
Yeah.
So she was given one instruction. Well, maybe not one, the directions, but one instruction to not tell anyone. It's a safety protocol. It's a safety situation. She disregards that and tells Tally, knowing full well that Tally had no intention ever of running away to the smoke.
Yeah.
Not only putting herself at risk, but also Tally. But she's so young that she doesn't even comprehend any of these things or like take them seriously.
And everyone at the smoke at the same time.
Or what the gravity of what she's done, where she is, why she's there.
Which is so crazy because they have to build the Smoky with those types of uglies. They have to recruit those uglies.
They have to.
Which is such a huge risk to take every day.
But it is so insane though, because like people like Croy, right?
Yeah.
Who was her friend prior, I mean, feels more like he does kind of understand it. I mean, he's more skeptical than anyone of Tally.
Yeah, and I mean, David does mention that for some uglies, it is just a big trick, and they go back to the city, and it is what it is.
And he does feel like that's how it is for Shay.
With Shay, yeah. But Tally's different.
But here's the thing that's so crazy to me, though, is because when we see Shay in the first half, for me, she feels different. She feels sure of herself.
Yeah.
It's Tally that... Who did I say? I said Shay,
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
It's Tally that seems immature and young and misguided and like just completely ununderstanding of the world. And I feel like Shay is the one that feels matured and just like some grasp on like herself as a whole and like confidence and all those things. And it's such a crazy contrast to then get to the Smokies and feel like it's completely flipped on its head.
Wow, yeah.
Do you feel like that?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Shay's just like, oh, I came out here. I might have a boyfriend. We're digging holes. I don't know why they're digging holes.
It
Cutting
does
trees down. They're not doing that.
Maybe it's David that really brought her out there.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's the big reason that Shay
might be.
made the decision that she did.
Yeah.
I feel like if maybe she had never met David, who apparently is not a 40-year-old man.
Yeah, it's just 18. Yeah, if it was his... someone else, someone older,
Someone
that was
older.
there recruiting Uglies, she might not have been so inclined to go.
Her and Tally would probably be pretty right now.
Yeah. Be a different
So,
story.
What does that say about David?
He's too hot.
What does that say about David? What? Yeah. He's a pretty ugly.
It's like all the Uglies he's bringing back are just like girls. It's all girls.
For like gay guys.
David, what is David, what is going on?
David,
what are you building
today?
Anyways, moving on. Chapter 28.
Okay.
Suspicion. Days pass and Tally is falling into a routine. She's liking the hard labor and is getting stronger for it. She still doesn't know what to do, but for now, Dr. Cable can wait. She thinks about how the hot food, the cold baths, the latrines, how David had taught her how to sew, how to identify the wildlife, and how to clean fish, which is so cool of him. And the smoke is so beautiful. Nature, at least, didn't need an operation to be beautiful. It just was. Oh, I love nature. One morning on the way to the railroad track, David pulls his board up next to Tally's. After a few minutes riding in silence, he tells her he has a present for her. And this is crazy because in the smoke, you don't give anything away. You always, always, always trade. So a present is a big, big, big deal. It was a pair of leather gloves for her hands. He'd made them a few years ago for himself, and they're too small for him now. But they're in great shape, and she likes the history about them. The dings, the scratches, and the tatters. They get to their work site, and David wants to cut down trees, and the new Smokies are like, we can't clear cut trees. That's so rusty. And he says, don't worry, we'll burn them. And they're like, oh my God, we can't burn them. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
And
these are living beings.
Yeah. And he promises they'll plant better trees. It'll be fine. They're horrified by that. And Croy says, these trees have purpose. David is like, Jesus Christ, city kids, am I right? Like, it's gonna be such a hard time about this all the time.
Fucking chill, honestly.
But he tells them in words that they can understand, we're just cleaning up garbage the Rusties left, which involves a little surgery, which is so funny. He uses their terminology. They still don't want to do that, but it doesn't work. So he says, fine, have fun getting to the track without chopping the trees. And then we cut to Tally is working with Croy in a little pair, and they're having a really hard time with the trees. They're really having a hard time. David was
like,
right.
It was like Tally's suggestion to like
go between everything.
Yeah, between the trees and cut kind of into the root, like so you don't chop the entire tree, but just a portion of it. And she's having a hard time with it.
And it's hilarious.
She's realizing that maybe her idea was bad. But in just like typical fashion for people in general, her ego's far too big. She's not going to turn back now.
Yeah.
She's not.
It's too late.
Far too late for that.
As they're chatting, Croy asks her how much her sweater cost. And she's like, 6 spagbles. Then he apologizes again sincerely that he would not have taken her stuff when she first got to the smoke. She's like, it's all good. And like, it's totally fine, Croy.
I literally don't care.
Yeah. Then she says she has 8 spagble left. And Croy does the math, and the maths ain't mathin'. She had a lot more spagble because he had taken her bag and looked inside of it, and there was a shit ton in there. And so she was like, that doesn't make any sense, Tally. And she's like, okay, I guess I skipped a couple meals, okay? Like, don't tell anybody. I just exaggerated to make myself sound more interesting because everyone was like loving my story.
Everyone likes me. Okay, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Croy.
Just don't even worry about it. But he's still suspicious, and her anxiety is spiking. Tally and Shay take their lunch away from the others. Tally wants to talk to her about Croy's suspicions, but Shay thinks she's talking about David. And then Shay she's like, what do you mean, Tally? Like, what did he tell you? And then Shay shows Tally's her gloveless hand. She's like, check it out. Same size hands. And then she says, people think long and hard about gifts in the smoke. I know what him giving you gloves means. And Tally tries to give her the gloves. She's like, well, if you want them, here, take them. And she's like, I don't want them. And like, damn. And then Tally's like, okay, maybe you don't. And then she's like, well, have you tried talking to David before freaking out about this? And then Shay's like, well, we don't really talk much anymore since you got here. Shay is upset, but tells Tally, it's not your fault, okay? Like, I know that. I know that. And then Shay asks if Tally and David had talked about her heart pendant and her lover waiting to join them. And Tally says she feels guilty she told someone in general about the smoke. She's not going to go advertising it. It's just an excuse. She's about to say this. This is all in Shay's head, but she stops herself because she knows it's not. She can see what she's talking about, and she can even feel it. She's having feelings. The railroad cave.
This like when I was reading this, like I'm honestly so like maybe it's because I just wasn't looking for romance.
Yeah.
But I was like so confused. I was like, Shay, what the fuck are you talking about? Like what? I was so confused. I was like, where
but the
is
signs
this
are
coming out
there.
of left field? And then when they were starting to explain it, I was like, I guess. I was like, where have I been? Because I just like
signs are
was not
there.
looking for it literally at all. The only weird thing for me was when he was giving her the gloves and then they like held hands for like a second on the hoverboard. I was like, oh, it was just like such a sweet gesture.
What a nice thing.
I was like, oh my God, that's like such a nice moment that they shared. It's so nice for Shay's boyfriend and Tally to just be so close. And
Oh no.
I didn't see it at all.
Oh no.
And I feel like I can see those things so good, and I was just like
Ooh.
completely over my head.
I love that. You got
Did you when you were you like, oh, I spotted it right away?
Oh my God.
I know you
remember.
read it like a long time
I read
ago.
it something like 2007.
So no.
I
You
don't
know.
remember at
Okay.
all.
When you reread it, because you already knew. Okay, just move on.
When I reread it, I saw every single sign and I was like,
You're like,
Yeah.
it's brewing.
Yeah.
Hashtag
Yeah.
brewing. Yeah. No, I didn't. I honestly, I was like, this conversation just threw me. I didn't know that was what Shay was supposed to be talking about.
Yeah. That's so good. Interesting. I love that.
Yeah. Just a little bit of my perspective.
Yeah, the railroad cave, him showing her that cave. Wait, did we talk about that?
Yeah, the cave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just did a
Because
second
he
ago,
was
yeah.
like, because she said, she was like, oh yeah, he was opening up to me at that
yeah,
point.
the
I didn't
secret
even
about his
realize
parents.
it. Yeah.
He trusts her.
Yeah.
And he gave her a present.
And he gave her a present.
That's a lot.
Looking back, I'm like, oh shit. And even her, she was like, she would see clothes on him. She's like, oh, that fits him well.
Yeah, and
Like,
it
he
did-
looks nice in that.
Yeah,
but I
he's-
just thought it was like,
She said that David was ugly, but it suited him. And then
Yeah.
like Croy was ugly, but it did not suit him. She said that.
I don't know. Like, I just like,
The way his jacket hangs off.
now
him.
I suppose I just thought it was just
Yeah.
like he had a confidence, like he had an aura about him, but like not in a million. I was like, not in a million years that I think that was gonna happen.
Oh, I love that.
I was like Shay and David forever, but now I'll be honest with you. I ship it.
Oh, yeah,
As soon as it was said, I was like, I get it.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
there.
I'm
with
here,
you.
yeah.
I'm with you.
All the way.
Yeah.
Shay just says, just tell David about the pendant, okay? Just tell him about the necklace. And she's really upset. And Tally promises that she'll tell him everything. And she really wants to tell everybody the truth all the time, but she never does.
Yeah.
Chapter 29, Bravery. Tally eats dinner alone, rabbits from a pen at the edge of the town, which suits her mood, which is not a good mood. She doesn't like that. She feels like everyone sees her necklace as a symbol of her treachery. With Croy's suspicion, and now she's in a love triangle. She feels like walking poison. She feels like the orchids, like a weed, but less pretty. David sits down across from Tally and apologizes. He noticed she didn't wear the gloves again after lunch with Shay and blames himself. Then he asks to go somewhere to talk. They both have words to exchange. They walk to the top of the valley, like that where she first had seen the smoke, and David tells Tally that she is the first runaway to make the journey to the smoke alone. His mom used to bring the Uglies in, but she's too old, so it's David's job now. And Tally's like, oh my God, she's too old. And
What is she, like 39?
Yeah. What does she look like?
What does she look like? Is she wrinkly?
And he's like, oh, she's in fine health. She's not like old. They just found that Uglies tend to trust someone their own age more. A hot guy. Sure.
A hot 18-year-old
Yeah.
luring women away from their homes.
16-year-olds. Oh my gosh.
luring young children away
we
from
put
their
it like
homes.
that. Young children.
It's like he's like it clown. He's like the it clown luring them into the sewer.
Pennywise.
No. That's
It's not that
probably
bad.
how the special circumstances wants us to think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stoop to that level.
He says it was incredibly brave for Tally to have come all alone, for leaving home. You came because you trusted Shay, your friend, so much, and that's why I trust you, I guess. is what he
That's
said.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's a crazy thing
Yeah,
to say.
blind. Love is blind. Love is blind.
He's like, red flags? Nowhere.
I can't see
There-
anything.
Nowhere to be found. By the way, podcaster people, my eyes are closed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's like feeling for things.
I'm feeling for things and my eyes are closed.
feeling for the red flags, which you can't see.
Can't see them.
Anyways, he tells her he was amazed when he saw her running down that hill with a huge smile on her face. But she's not happy about being praised for her bravery when she should be kicked out for her treachery. She says not everyone trusts me, and David says, oh yeah, Croy told me everything. He's crazy for thinking he must have gotten city help to get here. Don't listen to him. Like, he's literally so stupid. And the more David praises her for her bravery and loyalty, the more attracted to his ugly face she is. And she even thought it looked pretty for a fleeting moment. She loves him.
Oh.
He talks about how Shay had chickened out the first time she was supposed to go to the smoke and how he was surprised to see her again in the ruins. And that's okay. Uglies change their mind all the time. And David almost told her to forget about coming and to stay in the city to become pretty. Because he didn't.
I'm so confused about him and Shay's relationship. Like,
know.
I'm so confused.
Maybe it was like, I was thinking maybe it was like more Shay sided and maybe David.
It had to,
but like
have been.
he was like touching her shoulder while they're walking.
Yes,
and stuff.
100%. And she said that he was talking to her like before Tally got there.
Maybe the grass is greener on the other side.
You know what? Maybe she was kind of like a side ting for him.
Oh,
like it wasn't serious.
right? Yeah.
You know,
which is crazy to do in your position, David.
Yeah, like he's an authority figure and he's also 2 years older than her.
Yeah.
Which is like, I guess
It's
16
not
and
that
18
crazy.
isn't like that crazy, but still like, well, he met her when she was like 15.
Yeah.
Like,
only a couple months. They the way that they describe time, it's like, oh my God, but that was so long ago. And it was like 2 months ago.
That's true.
This whole series.
That's so
That was
fair.
ages ago. It was like 2 months.
I'm just saying like still
But yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't know.
Yeah, that
just feel weird
That is
about it.
interesting because they did feel like they were together.
I'll be honest, like I think David is at fault here. Like I don't think it's Tally. I don't think it's Shay. I think it's David. I think maybe David saw Shay.
He was wrong.
Was somewhat attracted to her. Maybe got the ick a little bit because she is so young and she is very flighty in his mind.
Yeah.
Has these qualities that he's like, oh, I don't like that she just doesn't, he probably doesn't feel like he can fully rely on her. He doesn't respect that she just completely disregarded his safety measures for this
Right.
place that he loves.
His
he
home.
sees Tally and he's like,
Oh.
oh my God, I'm
Like she has like everything.
and he's like, I'm wrecked.
Yeah.
Right?
Probably.
Cause he's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So maybe that's kind of just like, he had never seen Tally before. So
He
Shay
messed
was,
up.
yeah. And now Tally for him, I think is kind of like the one, maybe potentially.
We'll see. But he's glad he didn't tell Shay that she should just turn pretty because he would have never met Tally otherwise. And she's glad too. And Tally said, Shay really likes you, David. And he's like, yeah, I really like her too, but she's not you, Tally. She wants to tell David the truth and touches her heart pendant. And she tells him someone gave her that necklace. And she told them about the smoke. Like, aren't you mad about that? And he says he's not because she never promised him anything. And he hadn't even met her yet when all of that happened.
Yeah. That's fair.
He doesn't care. And then he's like, listen, I want you to meet my parents.
He's like, before that person comes, just
Yeah.
promise me one thing. Come meet my parents.
Yeah. I mean, fall in love with me first.
And then come meet my parents. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
That's a crazy thing to do.
Chapter 30, The Secret. David takes Tally to his parents' cabin. And by the way, he's like, right now, bitch. We're going right now. Get on your hoverboard. We're going.
We're going to have a good time.
He takes Tally to his parents' cabin, which is a bunker in the side of a mountain located just outside the smoke. His mom, Maddie, was an old ugly, according to Tally, but not as horrifying to look at as the boss, I guess. She doesn't know whether to shake their hands or not. In the city, kids they don't spend time with other ugly's parents. She's like, what do I do with my hands? What's the protocol?
She's like, shit.
What do I do? And the fact that David referred to them as mom and dad was also weird to her. Which
Yeah.
I think is so fun.
Soul
And
and
weird. Ellie.
Soul Ellie.
Then his father, Az, comes to greet them, and Tally is shocked that he and David look so much alike. Az is like, yeah, our genetics are intact. Out here in the smoke, they value the features that are passed from parent to child. The city does not. And you know what? David's nose is so much bigger than any pretty's, but she never noticed that before. How's that possible?
That's crazy.
That's what she's thinking. Because she loved it.
Does she love it?
She's also amazed that David and his parents interact as equals, which in the city there's obvious hierarchies. So if they're acting as equals is really weird. There's 4 cups set out like for tea, and Tally realized that they were expecting her. Like this was planned, which I think is crazy.
That's so cute.
Yeah. She comments on how The tchotchkes in their house look familiar to her. And Maddie said, it's because like we're from the same city as you. And if they hadn't run away, her and Az probably would have been the ones to turn Tally pretty. That's so crazy. They're talking about Tally and her adventures, and she said she didn't even know about the smoke until she met Shay. And Az is like, Shay? I don't think we met
Shay?
her.
Yeah, I don't even know her name.
Never heard that name before. And Tally's like, David never brought Shay here. What the fuck?
He never brought Shay there,
deep.
and he's talked about Tally to his parents before.
This is deep.
So like, yeah, he's obsessed.
Oh my, he's obsessed.
He's obsessed.
David wants his parents to tell Tally all their secrets. He wants Tally to know the truth so she can make her decision to go back to the city with all the facts. Maddie and Az are angry at first because they know how city kids are coddled and live their whole lives in a bubble, and Tally can't be any different. They're arguing right in front of her, and she's like, hello, please tell me what the fuck you're talking about. Finally, Az says, I suppose we have to tell you the truth about being pretty and the reason we ran away 20 years ago. It's crazy that the smoke has existed for 20 years. That's so crazy.
That is crazy.
It is.
20 years is a long time.
Yeah, there's only like 20 houses in there.
Yeah.
One house a year. Chapter 31, Pretty Minds. Maddie and Az revealed to Tally that they were cosmetic surgeons, and Maddie was even on the Pretty Committee, which is a nickname for the Committee for Morphological Standards, which is a global institution that they make sure pretties were all more or less the same, while at the same time allowing the cities to remain independent from one another.
Yeah, like across the world.
Across the whole entire world. So that's crazy. Meanwhile, Az was independently researching better anesthesia protocols in an effort to make the surgery safer because a couple of people still die from it every year, which Tally had never heard before. She did not know that. She's like, that's interesting. I didn't know. They don't fucking tell them the risk.
There's a risk of dying? I almost had that surgery. I was literally in the waiting room.
Wow.
You're telling me this now?
I wanted that. During his research, he discovered that new pretties came out of the operation with lesions on the brain. They say it's like a cluster of cells or a tiny wound or like a cancer. Almost everyone had them in the exact same place. The only pretties that didn't have them were pretties that had jobs that required critical thinking and fast reflexes like firefighters, wardens, doctors, politicians, and special circumstances. Which means the lesions are part of the operation. They don't know what exactly they do, but they have their suspicions. Special circumstances had shut down their investigation and took all of their findings and told them to stop looking into this or lose your licenses. It was either run away or forget what they had found, and they couldn't forget. Tally asked David why everyone seems so well behaved once they become a pretty. Like, what's up? Because of the lesions, Tally.
Yeah.
And like, because there are no wars or fights. And David says it's obvious. The operation changes the way people think.
Not just the way that they look.
Yeah. And she thinks about Paris and how changed he was.
And it makes so much sense. And you know what? When I was reading this,
You were about to attack that, weren't you?
I was. So here's the thing. I was like, okay, so this is weird that they keep for like every single person that turns pretty forgets about their people in Ugly Town. Like that seems too crazy. Like there would have been one or two that would have come back and visited, and like there's just no way that every single person gets so wrapped up in Pretty Town that they just like maybe a majority of them. Sure, I could have bought that, but every single one, I was like, that has to be doing something
going on.
Something must be like in their food or whatever. I didn't really guess a lesion, but I guessed something was being done.
Yeah, a lesion on the brain is crazy.
It is crazy. It's
a good twist.
Yeah.
I was blindsided by that the first time I read it.
Really?
I was like, oh, it's just like a fun story.
You remember that?
Yeah.
You remember that part, of course.
Sorry, I don't remember about David.
From 2007. 2007.
Sorry.
You remember that?
I was just like so interested in the story. And then like,
Yeah.
oh, it's more complicated than I thought. What?
No, that's fair.
Chapter 32, Burning Bridges. Oh, they stay up late talking about everything. And Maddie and Az explained that they were pretties, but were able to reverse their surgery by melting the special plastics used in the surgery with a chemical. But they still have all the other benefits of being pretty: indestructible teeth, perfect vision, resistance to disease, etc., etc. Then they say they founded the smoke as a control group to investigate the effects of the lesions on people's brains, and they can see the difference. The Smokies act different. However, they have not found a cure to the lesions. They just don't have enough data or tools, etc., etc. They know there's a cure because the city removes the lesions easy enough from pretties that choose to be firefighters, etc.
Yeah, and it is interesting. I wonder if they choose to be firefighters or if they choose them for that profession based off of like
a mix.
prior, like, I don't know, things when you're ugly.
Yeah.
Because how would a pretty with a lesion be able to say, I want to be a firefighter.
You know what?
I want to be a, blah, blah, blah,
doctor.
blah,
I want to cut it. I want to cut people up. Yeah.
When all the other pretties seem to just care about partying. So I feel like they've got to be pre-picked for these things.
They might be. And that's interesting. Maddie wishes they had a pretty subject to experiment on. Tally asked if they noticed their brains were changing after their lesions were cured, and they described it not as their brains changing, but just they were just growing up. They're like, we're done being pretty, we're done drinking, we're done partying, we want to be doctors.
We want to be doctors.
She's like, didn't you notice everyone around you was definitely brain damaged? Like, didn't you notice that at least?
Like 100%.
They basically said that the lesions were so normal by then, they just couldn't tell. I guess I can buy that. I can. It's late and they're tired as fuck, so they decide to go back to camp. Tally has a lot to think about. 99% of humanity had something done to their brain, and only a few people in the world knew exactly what. That's crazy. To be a doctor doing the operation and not know, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
On the way back, David explains he couldn't let her return to the city without knowing the truth first. They don't tell all the uglies that decide to go back for many reasons. Tally wondered how many of those uglies the specials also tried to blackmail to find the smoke, which comes up again. She is not happy.
That does, and not in this book.
Right, not in this book.
So there's other people that have infiltrated the smoke?
Oh, no.
No one that's infiltrated.
That have tried. They've tried.
That have tried to infiltrate the smoke.
Or the specials, they've been working. The specials have been working.
Okay.
She is not happy David shared his bigger secret with her because she's too chicken to tell him her secret that she's a spy. He says, you did so good tonight. My parents were so impressed. You're different from other city kids. You're beautiful.
Wow.
Tally's like, me with my frizzy hair and flat nose? No, David, like, I'm super ugly. He asked if she thought he was ugly, and she tries to explain it's not up to her. She says, you think I'm beautiful for real? Like, more beautiful than Shay?
Oh.
And she's like, I didn't mean to say that. I shouldn't have said that. Shouldn't have asked that.
The fact that came out of her mouth is crazy.
And he says, yes, as a matter of fact, yes, I do think you're more beautiful than Shay. But that's not what's important to me. What's inside you matters a lot more. Then he tells her what interested him the most when they met was the scratches on her face. They held stories. You take risks, Tally. She is astounded. He thinks she is beautiful like this whole time. And she leans into him and they kiss. And
I'm obsessed.
I know. I really do love them together. And she's amazed at how intense it becomes. She thinks that uglies kiss each other, in the dorms. And they do a lot more than kiss. But it never felt like it counted until they were pretty. But this counted. David touches the pendant and asks, what about this? And Tally decides to abandon her mission as spy to not betray the smoke. To show David how she feels, she throws her pendant into a fire, pledging her loyalty to the smoke by burning the tracker, and to David by showing him that the person that gave her the pendant means nothing to her. It's a relief to Tally to make that decision, and she feels some type of way when David calls her beautiful. Dr. Cable is not coming. Tally won't get lesions on her brain. Her and David are together, and she feels like she belongs here, and she starts to cry. David kissed her goodnight, and he dropped her off at her room, and he said that he was going to take a walk before bed because he needs to think. Tally kicks her shoes off and falls asleep within seconds with the rest of her clothes on, and then awakes to chaos. The sounds of running, shouting, and the screams of machines. Special circumstances have arrived. She's just like, oh man, things are so great. And she only got to enjoy it for like 10 seconds.
And I want to say on the record, I knew that was going to happen as soon as she decided to burn the pendant. On the record. I just want to say that I definitely
I'm smart.
I just want to say that I'm super, super genius girl. And I may have not recognized Tally and David, but I recognized special circumstances a mile away. I just want to say that. Anyways, and the other thing I want to say.
What?
People are going to wonder. I know people are going to wonder. I know. Why is it, Kylie, that you're okay with
oh my gosh,
David and Tally, but you don't love, Gregory and Lucy? I'll tell you why. I'll give you the here. Gregory saw Lucy and Hermione at the same time. Said Hermione was the one for him because she's, in his eyes, was prettier than Lucy. Got to know Hermione, was like, she got engaged. A third party situation, got engaged. And then he was like, okay, then Lucy. If Hermione never got engaged, I am full convinced that Hermione and Gregory would have been together. Full convinced by that. Full convinced. I am full convinced. You've told on the record, I have proof. I have receipts that you also have said if they didn't get engaged, Hermione and Richard, that Hermione and Gregory. Nope, you're lying. I have receipts. That Gregory and Hermione would have gotten engaged and probably married and been together forever. He would have ended happily. He would not happily, and I didn't say happily. He would have gotten bored for sure, but he would have married her 1,000%, 2,000%. I stand by that, 10 toes down. He would have never picked Lucy ever, if it hadn't have been for a third party situation. Now David picked Tally.
He sure did.
He picked Tally. If he would have seen Tally and Shay at the same time, he would have picked Tally.
He would have like knocked Shay over to get to Tally.
He would have fucking elbowed her in the jaw to get to Tally. I don't care. That's the truth. And that is why I stand David. I stand David and Tally.
Okay, wonderful.
And I think that's a fair thing.
Okay, I can't wait to get into pretties. Also, if you didn't read Gregory, if you don't give a shit about Bridgerton, I'm so sorry about that. Moving on.
Yeah.
But if you did, there it is.
There it is. Part 3, Into the Fire. Chapter 33, Invasion. Tally was alone in the bunkhouse when the special circumstances arrived. Where was everyone? Had they already fled the smoke, leaving her to face the invasion alone? She literally couldn't see a person. She was like by herself. Like she looked outside. She's like, where's everyone? Special circumstances invades using hybrid helicopter hover cars, okay? Which means they don't need iron to fly because they have helicopter blades. They can basically go anywhere they want.
Yeah, like they said the blades were where the wheels of a normal car would be. Like turning like this.
Okay, that's in a movie somewhere, but I can't remember what movie.
Oh,
I
yeah,
can see it in my brain, but I can't for the life of me remember what movie it was.
Is it Hunger Games?
Maybe Hunger Games. It could be Hunger Games. It could. Tally doesn't have time to put shoes on. She notices that these pretties that are there, rounding up Uglies, not Uglies, Smokies.
Oh,
Smokes. They're from the smokes. Smoke. What do you call them? Smokies. They're superhuman with strength and reflexes like a fucking Olympic gold medalist.
Better.
Really?
Yeah, they say
they're not like Superman. No.
They in somewhere. Sorry, I already read a whole pretties, but somewhere they say the specials are stronger and faster than any athlete in human history.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. I totally thought it was. Whoa. Okay. Wow. Wow, that's crazy. So, better than an Olympic gold medalist.
So sorry.
Better than Simone Biles. That's crazy to think about. Faster faster than Usain Bolt. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
I
don't mean to like rag on Simone Biles' height, but just imagining her rounding up.
Dude, she would be an absolute force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, she'd be jumping
Could you imagine? Oh my God, that'd be insane. I would not go up against Simone Biles. I wouldn't. And I'm 6 foot and I would not. I bet you $100 she could beat my ass. I bet you $100 she could beat my ass.
Those gymnasts are
She's
strong.
so strong. She's so strong.
I won't deny that. They're strong.
Oh, and she's got to jump like crazy. She could probably kick me in the face. With a jump kick.
She can jump 12 feet high.
She kick over my head and then in the face.
Yeah.
Easy. I wouldn't even notice because her reflexes are so fast.
Oh yeah.
She
could be a special.
Insane athlete. Back to the show. Back to the regular schedule programming.
Sorry.
Tally escapes to the forest where she finds the boss hiding. He is carrying a bag full of magazines and some habanero pepper powder. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have as much strength as Tally, so he asks her to run away with the magazines. But here's the thing. She doesn't have any shoes.
She's like, I can't run.
She's like, there's a bummer, boss. And the boss is like, shit, you don't have any shoes. So you know what? Give me the bag. Here, you take the peppers. And what you're going to do is you're going to go up to that special right there. You know, that really big, strong, super crazy human special. You're going to go up to her and you're going to throw this powder in her face. And then I'm going to get away.
Yeah, and then I'll save the magazines.
And you're going to try, but you know.
Maybe we'll succeed.
The odds are not in your favor.
This habanero pepper is like serious stuff.
Yeah, but the odds aren't in your favor. I'm gonna be honest. And then he pushed her out into the open, and Tally charged at the special. The special ducked, right as Tally was like charging for her, and then Tally like fell down. I think she tripped her or something.
Yeah, they're just really fast.
Yeah. Tally then was distracting the special while the boss tried to escape. The special turned around and saw him. And
They can hear.
so Tally was like, okay, here's the habanero pepper in your face.
Boom.
And yeah, managed to get the can open. Good for her. The special screamed. She was like, ah! And it was like blood curdling
Oh my God, it
in
must be
your
so
tummy.
painful.
Terrifying. And then Tally ran for it. She ran into the woods, but unfortunately, the habanero pepper, it got in her throat.
Oh no.
And she's like hiding under a bush when another special was coming. And he was looking for her. She's hiding in the bush. And she's like trying not to sneeze. The habanero pepper's in her throat. But it's a bummer because she had to sneeze. And she sneezed or coughed.
Oh yeah,
she
coughed. Yeah, have you ever had that, like a tickle in your throat, and you're taking a test, and you're like a goddamn tickle in your throat, and you're like trying not to cough, and then it just comes out in a huge torrent.
Yeah. Yep. And she couldn't hold it in. And she couldn't hold it in.
You can't.
And she coughed, and it alerted the special, and so he forced her head in the dirt while she was coughing. And she was like coughing more. She was like, "Okay, I got that out." Coughs like crazy.
You got me.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Chapter 34: The Rabbit Pin. Tally is brought to a rabbit pin where the other detainees are. The specials announce her as an armed resistor and her hands are cuffed. Croy, who was also captured, tells Tally he was suspicious of her when she didn't show up to breakfast, but now he's like, I trust you because you're part of the armored resistance. Resisties.
Yeah.
I get it now. You were doing
You're
resisty shit. You know what I mean?
You were doing resisty things.
Yeah. Shay then arrives in the pen, bloodied and bruised,
dude,
because she was fighting back.
What a contrast. They say, watch this one.
And they say, watch this one because she was fighting back so hard.
Unarmed, but dangerous is what they said.
and the special that brought her in had like a bruise on her face.
Yeah, she fought hard.
So she fought hard.
I love that for her.
I do too, actually. I liked her at that point.
Yeah.
Shay points to Tally and says, this is her fault. And then it goes back downhill for me for Shay because she said that.
Immediately.
Croy defends Tally, which angers Shay even more. She tells Tally she not only had stole her boyfriend, but she also destroyed the smoke.
Yeah, so, which is like a valid point of view from Shay.
No, it's not.
It is.
It's not.
Well, in her head, in her immature, the way that she thinks.
Yeah, in her,
of course, Tally's out to get her. It makes sense.
Yeah,
in her
it's
head.
stupid, but sure. Yeah,
you know what I mean? She doesn't take the smoke seriously. Oh, and all of a sudden, it's all Tally's fault.
Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah, I see it, but it's definitely not the right point of view.
Right. Correct. Yeah.
Like, listen.
It's her perception.
The only thing, and I'm not joking. The only thing that I will not defend Tally on, 10 toes down. I'm not even kidding. I will defend Tally with every single ounce of my being in my body. The only thing I won't defend her on is throwing the pendant in the fire. She should have done something different with that. And I stand by that from the second she threw it in the fire. I was like, that's not a good idea. I don't think that's not now, not ever. I think that right there is going to be a mistake. Everything else, I am behind her with a closed fist, like, let's rally, bitch, because I'm behind you.
Yeah.
And I stand by that.
Yeah.
So the specials begin scanning everyone's eyes. Croy said they were separating everyone by city. Tally notices that a lot of the runaways and the specials that are rounding them up are from her own town. When they reach Tally, they tell her that Dr. Cable is waiting for her and cut her cuffs off.
Yeah. And they're like, what? Wait, I just
What?
started trusting you. What's happening?
Does anyone even notice? Because
maybe no.
I feel like so now Shay is even more convinced Tally betrayed them, but no one else says anything.
Oh,
like,
that's so weird. Yeah.
Not even
right in front of everybody.
Right. So I was confused about that. Well, and also what comes up later.
Yeah.
Chapter 35, In Case of Damage. They brought Tally to what used to be the library. Tally feels confused about how the specials found them since she destroyed the pendant. She meets Dr. Cable, who asks Tally why she was found amongst the resistors. Tally's good at quick lies,
she
says that she was trying to protect herself from the Smokies. Dr. Cable asks Tally where the pendant is and tells her that the pendant gets activated when it's destroyed.
Which, duh, Tally.
Obviously.
Of course we would do that, Tally.
Now Tally knows that she called them accidentally.
Damn.
And that is the only thing I'll blame her for. Tally says that she hid the pendant in the trading post, so Dr. Cable sends Tally to retrieve it, double cuffing her and sending her off with a guard.
So she has she has clipped cuffs and then another cuff
that's
not clipped because she doesn't to preserve her image to the other Smokies.
Yeah. So this was confusing to me too, because
like, why would you want to preserve her image?
Well, but also can they not just like reconnect the old cuffs? Like, I don't understand.
Oh, it's probably like those, the plastic zip tie things, but like crazy ass material.
Crazy material. Okay. You know? Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah,
okay.
That's what I picture.
That's fair. She led the officer to the trading post roof and said it was on top of there. There were hoverboards on the roof. That's where she was aiming for. Yeah. And she had clocked those before, by the way. And that's why she was like, oh, trading post, that's where I know where I'm going. Tally manipulates the guards, confusing him with made up slang that she said was Smoky slang.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember exactly what the slang was, but it was
something
good.
About like the gutter, but
she's like, oh yeah, up on the
like the rain hatch
ricketing. So go up there.
We weren't near any of that, but it was funny.
What's a made up word for you then? Say a made up word. Say a made up word you make up right now.
Rinkshire.
Okay, on the
that was good for how on the spot you put me.
On the black belt.
Black belt.
On the black belt. That's a good one.
It's like
on
German
the black belt. Okay, I'm sorry. Don't give me things. He got onto the roof but couldn't find it because it was made up fucking Smoky slang. And so he's like, all right, Tally, fine. You can come up here and look. Ugh. Okay. Tally, and I say this with quotes, tripped. She didn't actually trip. It was a fake. She should be an actress, award winning. Mm-hmm. And the special grabbed her right before she was about to fall and pulled her back onto the roof. But that actually made him fall in return.
Crazy. Because he's a special.
Because he saved himself. He basically sacrificed himself. But he was fine now because he's a special. Yeah. While he was on the ground, unable to see Tally, she snapped the board because it was open to the sunshine back into place.
Charging, yeah.
Yeah, like she closed it all up. And he got back on the roof and said she wouldn't fall if she didn't have handcuffs.
Yeah, she's like, I won't, I would keep my balance better if I could have my hands.
Yeah. And so he took them off of her.
It's the idiot. As
he takes them off of her, he tells her that he doesn't want to hurt her, but ... And she finishes a sentence with, you will if you have to.
Yeah. They said that like 4 times. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. You'll hurt me if you have to. Ugh. And then she snaps her fingers because he's standing in the perfect spot. The hoverboard knocks the special off his feet and Tally zooms away on it. But she's not wearing a crash bracelet.
Or shoes.
The crash bracelet is arguably more important.
Yeah.
Especially
for sure.
Shoes.
Well,
Yeah, I know.
Both of them will not help you stay on the board.
Not help. Both of them together are a disaster. Yeah. Chapter 36. Run. Tally escapes towards the railroad tracks. She has no shoes on and no crash bracelet.
We just said that.
Just so you just reiterate.
To reiterate, it's very important.
Just to reiterate, she has neither of those things. She's on Croy's hoverboard, by the way, which isn't adapted to her body. She passes over the captured Smokies and they're all cheering for her. The specials pursue her. Since their hover cars have helicopter blades, they don't rely on metals as Tally's board does. They're able to outmaneuver her, but they also overshoot her since they fly so fast. Like if she were to stop and change direction really quick. Yeah. Tally decides to fly low and head to the railroad cave where David had taken her so she can escape heat detection.
There it is. Yeah.
Bingo. Snaps for me.
Heat sensing capabilities.
Amazing. She leaves her board flying on the railroad track in the other direction to make it seem like she fell off. Tally escapes inside the cave. She has no board, no shoes, just to reiterate again, and no water purifier, and no food.
Oh my gosh.
Just as she's about to collapse in despair, she hears a voice. It's David.
Didn't she say something? She's like, oh, I'm in trouble or something like that.
She's like, oh, rats.
Yeah.
Ah, son of a
bitch.
Son of a
son of a nutcracker.
Son of a gosh darn.
And David's like, Tally?
Tally?
Is that your cursing?
Oh my God. I recognize that voice. Chapter 37. Amazing. Tally.
It's called Amazing?
It's called Amazing.
Okay. Amazing.
Amazing.
like you just made that up. Okay, my bad.
Tally and David embrace in a hug. Tally and David wait for a really long time in the cave, waiting till they cannot hear the hover cars anymore. They wait for like an hour past when they hear them because they want to make sure because
they don't want to get caught.
They don't want to get caught. David asks, "What the heck happened?" And Tally describes the dire scene back at the camp.
Ugh, no.
David says he had taken a hoverboard out early to watch the sunrise when he saw the specials coming in and ran to the cave to hide. David asks if she saw his parents.
Oh, no.
Guiltily, she says,
No.
No.
No. I didn't see him.
No, I didn't see him. I'm so sorry about that. Is that how you'd say it, guiltily?
No.
Unfortunately, I did not see your parents.
You sound like the kid. Apparently,
I didn't see your parents. And apparently,
I don't know if they made it out of
I
the
don't know if they
smoke.
made it out alive. And apparently, if they come back, they will hurt them. And apparently,
Oh my god. That's what Tally said, verbatim.
guiltily.
Guiltily.
Tally says she wants to rescue everyone from special circumstances. David asks her why she knows about special circumstances, and she covers up her secret, saying she was brought in after sneaking into New Pretty Town, like way back.
Oh, yeah.
Way back in the day, like 3 months ago.
Yeah. So, like, way back.
Way back when she was like super young a couple months ago. David recalls the story from Shay, but doesn't recall them getting caught. And Tally lies and says she was caught after the fact because they found her DNA at the scene. She said that.
Yeah, they're like, found my DNA or something. I don't know.
They found a hair follicle. It's fine, David. David also wonders how Tally was able to clip her cuffs off while under special circumstances watch. David is just like, you know what? Everything she says is perfect and she's amazing. And honestly, like he falls in love with her even more. He's like, she's perfect. Everything you say is right. And you know what? You're right. And I love you.
That doesn't sound right, but yeah, I guess I don't care.
No, all of this is fishy, but also you're perfect. Oh my God, I love you. He doesn't say I love you, but at the very end, he's like, you know what? You're amazing, Tally. And she's like, yeah, I'm so great.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Please don't say that.
I hope your parents are alive.
And apparently, I don't actually know if they're alive. That was the best thing I've ever heard.
That was funny.
Chapter 8. Ruin.
It's not chapter 8.
Chapter. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
Chapter 38. Ruin. It was so serious too. Tally and David head to the camp the next morning.
Oh.
They wait a while at the top of the mountain looking down. Tally sees a wolf capture a rabbit from the pen in its teeth, and she thinks about how quickly things revert to the wild.
That was really fast.
It was so quick. It was one day, less than a day.
Good night.
When they get back to camp, they find everything burned in ashes. Tally, when they go to the rabbit pen, sees a pile of shoes and realizes Croy left them for her since he watched her escape barefoot, which makes her feel like even more guilty, which I don't even know if that's possible.
He's like, everyone take off your shoes. Tally got away and she didn't have shoes.
I have it quoted.
Oh, good.
Okay.
What is it?
No, Croy would have kicked off his own shoes, then whispered to whoever he could. Tally's free and barefoot. They'd left her with a score of pairs to pick from, the only way they could help the one Smokey they'd seen escape.
Yeah. Also, they had to ride double to get back to the smoke.
Yeah.
Like on the hoverboard.
On her hoverboard.
And it was hot. You've never ridden double before? They're like riding double on the hoverboard.
She's like perching her butt.
Yeah.
She's 16.
Oh, sorry.
No,
it was cute.
No, it was cute. It was very cute. They search the camp more and see burned pages fluttering in the wind. Tally asks David why they bothered to burn the library. David says they don't want any record of what life was like before. And this is going to get sad.
Oh, yeah.
David and Tally find the boss in the woods near his bag of magazines that was hidden under like another bush.
And yeah,
He was murdered.
he was not alive.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Okay. Also,
His neck was snapped.
yeah, they snapped his neck, which is crazy because he was like an old man.
Yeah.
And if he was fighting,
he was
even
40.
if he was fighting, right.
I mean, he had some missing teeth, but he was only 40.
He's not a match for the specials, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Even if he was fighting his hardest,
He was
they
no
didn't
match.
have to snap his neck. Okay,
No, that was a little bit much.
which is crazy. But then to leave his body there
Oh,
is
yeah,
insane.
for the wolves. Yeah, and not one person. They didn't even give it. No one gave him a proper burial.
No, wow, no.
No.
Pour one out for the boss. Not literally. Not right now. Not
Okay.
you. Not you.
Sorry.
She's about to pour out her drink.
Tally sees signs of a struggle on his body and realizes that he was likely trying to protect her because she thinks it happened when she was
right after
escaping
Yeah.
on the hoverboard,
Dang.
which makes her feel even more guilty. How is that even possible? Finally, they head to David's parents' house to see if they managed to not get captured.
Let's go.
And apparently, we don't know if your parents got captured.
Is that it for you?
That's it for me.
Okay. I'm like, why'd you stop?
Apparently, that's it for me.
Chapter 39, Maddie and Az. Oh no. David is hauling ass to the cabin. Tally tries to comfort him by telling him they killed the boss because he fought back. Like, relax, it's going to be fine. And he's like, my parents would have fought back, Tally. He gets there first and Tally stalls by unfolding her hoverboard so it can charge. But the thought of David finding out what happened alone had her running after him. The house was burned down. David is frozen, so Tally goes inside by herself. She goes through all the rooms and Maddie and Az are definitely not there. David is relieved and goes inside and comes back out with a long knife and says, please let me cut off your handcuffs. They're really annoying me.
They're pissing me off.
Yeah, they're actually pissing me
This
off.
is like a super not cute bracelet. Okay.
It's like it doesn't suit
It's like
you.
doesn't suit your vibe.
I gotta get them off.
Yeah.
He sawed and sawed for a whole minute, but barely scratches them, and he wonders how she had got them apart in the first place. Also, why are you wearing two pairs? And she says she doesn't know. Like, I don't know.
She was like really, really resisting.
Yeah, she's like, I really don't know. Also, I cut them on a rock, and it was fine. But he couldn't get them off. It just doesn't make sense to David because the knife he used was city made and with high tech alloys and monofilaments. But she cut it on a rock. But he's just like, oh well.
He's like, you know
Okay.
what? Checks out.
This is fine. He tells her he knows his parents didn't escape because his father definitely would have taken this knife. They agreed to go after his parents and says she's sorry. You know, she's like, I'm really sorry. Oh my God, I'm so sorry this all happened. But she's not going to tell him how sorry she actually is because this is all her fault.
Yeah.
At least until they find his parents, which makes sense.
I do feel like for him, it's a mixture of denial, or it's definitely denial because one, he likes her a lot. Like, if not loves her.
Love is blind.
Love is blind. But then also at this point, she is all he has to anything, like
Yeah.
at all. So it's like, I wouldn't be so willing to give up the one person that's near me right now too.
Yeah. It all makes sense.
So I do kind of understand why he's just kind of like overlooking, like they're not even red flags at this point. They're like flare guns.
Yeah, but like the handcuffs, he's like, whatever, like I'm going to worry about that later. You're here. You're willing to do this with me. Let's do it.
No, 100%. But like her story is just like don't add up.
Right. And he's like, well, he's willing to
He's like,
overlook that right now.
but I'm by myself. I can't do this by myself.
Yeah.
I need at least one other person.
Yeah, which just makes sense.
Yeah, I get it.
And David's like, okay, great. We just have to make one more stop. Let's go. He takes her to a cave near the house where his parents had left a cache of supplies that they had attended to for 20 years. So it's full of like water purifiers, spag bowl, probably.
Other foods that are not just spag bowl. Thank God.
Curry nudes,
Curry
veggie
nudes.
rice.
Curry nudes.
That's what it's called.
Curry nudes.
That's what it's called.
I know. I just think it's funny. Curry nudes.
Veggie rice. Tad pie.
Tad pie. Tad pie.
Pad thai. Pad thai. My bad.
What did you said? Tad pie.
My bad. I feel like I fucked that up like really an embarrassing way. Anyways, chapter 40, the oil plague. Tally and David leave at sunset. Each of them rode on 2 hoverboards pressed together like sandwiches, taking with them everything that they could from the smoke that was not ruined. David says they'll make it to the ruins in 10 days if they ride it all night and stay low during the day. By midnight, they reached a desert, which Telly thought at first was the Mojave, but David's like, no, that's like, that thing is fucking huge. This is a lot smaller. It's actually where the orchids first started, which is interesting. This whole thing is not super important, but it's all interesting. They reached a rusty city around daybreak where they decided to camp since the desert offered no protection. They're talking about this and that, and Tally makes a comment about how the Rusties wanted to survive because every ruins that she has been to, the cars are always all over the place trying to get out. And David said some of them got out, but not in cars. And she makes a comment about how she doesn't even like really know how the Rusty era had ended because they weren't taught that in schools. And David tells her he learned in a book from the boss that what happened was there was some sort of bacteria that came about and no one really knew like where it came from or how or why it existed, but it fed on oil. The bacteria spread through the air, and when it landed on petroleum or oil, are petroleum and oil the same thing?
No idea. Not an ounce of an idea.
Moving on. It sprouted and became unstable and would explode on contact with oxygen. And so when that happened, the spores would just spread on the wind and contaminate all oil and or gas, petroleum.
That is so creative. And honestly, shout out to this author for that because never in my life have I would have thought of some sort of apocalyptic event happening like that. And
Feeding
that is
on
now my
oil.
new nightmare.
Oh my God, it's so good.
It's super good. It's a nightmare of mine now. And it's so creative. It's innovative. I've never heard of anything like it.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed
It is so
with this
good.
type of apocalyptic. I want to see a movie so bad.
The Uglies movie?
Well,
Coming
sure,
out.
but I mean,
we're going to see it.
no. Just about this apocalyptic event.
Oh, yeah. Like
Specifically
a
about this
prequel.
apocalyptic event.
Oh my God. It sounds so scary because when they would get in their cars and try to flee the cities and it's just spreading from car to car and just exploding.
Because that's what I would do. I would get in my car.
Yeah,
I would die for sure. Yeah, 1000%, which is terrifying.
It is really scary.
Ugh.
I just want to point out that he uses bacteria and spores interchangeably. But from what I understand, spores means like fungus.
Oh.
Like from The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Which is different from bacteria, but like we're gonna move on. I don't really know. I don't really know.
Everything else is
Correct.
no
us if I'm
notes.
wrong.
Well, we have one note, so that's it. That's
What
it.
one?
Bacteria and spores.
Oh yeah.
That's our one.
Also,
note.
oil and petroleum. Like what?
I can't say
Moving
whether
on.
or not that's a no. I can't.
I don't know.
Couldn't tell you.
Don't add us, but also add us. Anyways, so the cars must have got infected while they were all trying to drive away and out of the city. And Tally says, well, why didn't they just walk? And he's like, I don't know. I guess they were stupid.
Dude, we're just catching strays.
Yeah, it's great. It's so funny because
God.
he makes jabs at a lot of different things too. Did you
Yeah,
notice that?
at least it's like equally distributed.
Yeah.
I mean, Tally makes
Sometimes
more.
it's like religion.
When was
Maybe
that?
it's in the pretties. Sorry for jumping
I
ahead.
was
But
gonna
he just,
say.
yeah, it's just like little innocuous comments that are like, damn, just making jabs.
I'm obsessed with him.
Yeah.
Kinda.
David says, I bet you weren't taught all this because they didn't want you to know how easily a society could fall. And he says that a weakness of a city didn't have to be physical. It could be an idea. A pretty idea. Chapter 41, Familiar Sights. They travel quickly for a few days. They feel like the only ones alive. They're just like alone. They're spending a lot of time together, teaching each other things. When after a few more days, they're stranded by a hurricane for 3 whole days. And Kylie went on like yeah, go ahead. Her hand is raised.
So I went on a whole thing for this because I was so confused. Because when we looked this up initially, they were on the West Coast.
Yeah, I think, would they say the Rusty Ruins is LA?
They said Seattle.
Right. I said LA. Yeah, it's Seattle, Washington.
So my guess is that the ruins that they're in with the desert is my best guess is Portland because I do think that they're in the Rockies, or it could be. They said it was less big than the city that they saw in the Rusty Ruins.
Yeah.
So my guess is Portland because it's not as big as Seattle, but I still, because there is a mountain range somewhere over there. My continuous question, and I still haven't completely answered this, is where are they to have seen a hurricane? It still doesn't make sense to me because when I looked it up, hurricanes do happen on the West Coast, but they're south, like they're in California.
Yeah.
They're not
It
ever.
could be in California by now.
Sure. But if they're sure, but depending on where
Right.
let's say that the Smokies are in the Rockies. Okay, that's pretty south.
Yeah.
Which I don't think that they're in the Rockies.
Right.
I think that they're in a smaller mountain range closer to the ocean, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Which I don't know where that would be, but whatever. Let's say that they're in the Rockies. They're still like they wouldn't go directly to the like even if they went straight across to the sea. I guess they would be in California. But then where would they find like then I don't know what city range that they were or like what city they saw in the Rusty. It all is very confusing. I would like a map.
I think there is one.
But anyways, there is a map, but it still doesn't make any sense to me. I still don't think it makes sense.
I don't know. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they say hurricanes do happen on the West Coast, but it's so rare.
Yeah.
And she talks about how it happens like she's like, I've heard of hurricanes, but how's she heard of? They're supposed to be rare over there. Typhoons happen, but like
maybe
hurricanes like rarely. Like the last recorded one on the West Coast was like 1980 something. Like rare. Like what? Like rare.
Yeah. Okay. So here's my thoughts. It could either be Tally is an unreliable narrator. She doesn't know what a hurricane is. So it just be like a really bad storm.
Sure.
Number two. Maybe, I mean, this is in the future and they do have this society where like everything is so controlled. They leave nature alone. Maybe it's because of like climate change or something and hurricanes just happen over there now.
Sure. I did say too that I have been reading up a little bit and you know,
your research.
The North and the South Pole do switch, and we are overdue for this. It's like been like 780,000 years. It's supposed to happen every 300,000 years. We're overdue for a North and South Pole switch.
Whoa.
Where they basically switch places. Also, the North or the equator does. I think it was unclear on what direction it moves, but it does move like several feet every year.
Oh my god.
So, you know, you never know where that's going.
Yeah.
And
like, I would say this book is like 300 years in the future.
So, right. So maybe the climate has changed based off of whatever happens to the earth.
Climate change.
And the things that happen to the earth. So I don't know. I guess we're just taking that all into account.
Let's not harp on it too long.
I couldn't help it. I was literally on this for like an hour and a half doing full-blown research.
Oh my god.
I was so confused. I was texting her like, I found this article and it does say.
And I was like at a Blink-182 concert.
Were you actually?
No, I can't remember. I can't remember what I was doing, but I was doing something. And I was like, yeah, I don't know.
And I was like, okay, I did find this.
Well, here's
the equator does move actually through. And I was like sitting in my bed waiting for you to respond.
Like, what are your thoughts?
Okay, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think this is plausible?
That's so funny. Basically, we don't know. Anyways, they're stranded by a hurricane for 3 days. They take shelter in a plastic tent underneath an outcropping of rock. They talk to each other so much through these 3 days, and Tally was sure she understood David more than anyone she'd ever known. David is afraid that they're taking too long. He wants to get to his parents.
That's fair. That's a fair thing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. When the storm breaks, they ride faster to make up for lost time and reach the rusty ruins a few nights later. Tally makes a comment that she's not as scared to be in the ruins as she once was, and that the city sprays the ruins with something to keep the ruins intact for school trips, which is so wild.
That is a wild
What a crazy thing
to occur.
Quote, and that was her city in a nutshell, Tally realized. Nothing left to itself. Everything turned into a bribe, a warning, or a lesson. End quote, which is so good.
Yeah.
They store away their stuff in a crumbling building far away from the center of the ruins and pack for the rescue. Tally asks David if he thinks her and Shay will ever be friends again after you and me. Like, do you think she'll ever get over that and be my friend again? And he's like, yes, of course. If you rescue her from the specials, she'll forgive you for just about anything. But Tally can't imagine that Shay will forgive her about betraying her and the smoke, which she had probably already guessed by now. When they get to the city, they immediately head toward special circumstances, and David says the sooner the better. He's like, let's get at it. Tally is tearing through the city, and David's like, oh my God, Tally, please slow down. Like, this is so crazy. Like,
there's people everywhere. Please slow down.
You're going so fast, and we're being so loud.
Could be more secret, please.
And she's like, you don't have to whisper, first of all. And second of all, there's no hover paths out here. The hoverboards work everywhere in the city. And he's like, oh my God, no, like, that's so crazy. And it feels good to be explaining things to David for once, which I thought was fun.
Yeah.
They race through the city like they're literally racing each other. And Tally tells David, this is where you have to whisper. as they're skimming the rooftops of the middle pretty burbs. They climb up a hill to take a look at special circumstances. There's a fence around the perimeter of the building that will alert specials if they get within 20 meters of it, and they can't touch the grounds inside the fence either. It sounds impossible. They can't take a hover car because I guess it just sounds too hard for them. They're like, I don't know, that sounds really hard. Let's keep thinking. And then Tally gets the idea to jump. They talk it through and decide they're going to ride their hoverboards up the hill as fast as they can and jump off over the fence and land on top of special circumstances building wearing bungee jackets so they don't go splat.
Genius.
And
Genius.
I love the terminology in this book. We'll just have bungee jackets so we don't go splat. It'll be fine. It'll work.
No, it'll be so good. If we go splat, then we go dead.
Yeah.
We go bye-bye.
Deadsies.
We go deadsies.
Chapter 42, Accomplices. David is kind of freaking out at the largeness of the city when Tally leads them to the art school building so they can grab a couple of bungee jackets. They get to the art school and Tally's like, stay here, give me the flashlight. And she like goes inside, grabs the jackets and is out in a second. And he's like, oh my God, like that was so cool. Like, wow, you are so confident and so strong and so beautiful. And I love you so much.
Oh my God. It's so funny how, okay, I'm going to say this off the record, how we've not said one sexual thing about these two because I think it's because they're so young.
Well, I did say riding double was hot.
You did, but that was it. That was all you said.
Yeah. I don't feel that. I don't
a sexual vibe.
Yeah,
not at all.
like you do in ACOTAR, but I still do feel like the romance, and I want
romance.
Them. Yeah,
sure,
that's interesting. Yeah. Then they head back to the Rusty Ruins and decide to do their rescue tomorrow night. They're talking and thinking about how difficult it's going to be inside a special circumstances without anybody noticing them, and wishes they had some help. Like, gosh, I wish somebody could help us.
Seriously.
And David says, well, maybe we do, because he can see a flare sparkling at the top of a building. And he's like, there's Uglies looking for David. They decide to wait there because the Uglies will have to pass them to get back to the city. And then David says the rumors about him and the smoke will go on for generations in cities all over. Not every sparkler is answered, so it'll be a while before anybody figures out that he won't be coming. Most of the Uglies don't even think the smoke. And then he's like about to says that it exists, but it doesn't exist. But he can't say that out loud because it's really sad.
Oh.
The Uglies approach them and he shines a flashlight into his face and says, "Are you looking for me?" So he's like, "Watch this, Tally, check this out." It was like crazy.
Yeah.
Which just scares the shit out of them. But they're just excited that David is real and that the smoke is real. Their names are Sussy, Anne, and Dex, which like.
What are these names?
Cool names. I love it so much.
Sure.
They talk about how they've been coming to the ruins for a month and they want to go to the smoke. David opens his mouth to respond, but Tally says, you can't go to the smoke right now. It kind of doesn't exist. It's in transit right now because it has to move every so often to stay hidden. So we're not recruiting at the moment. She tells them that they're like there in the city to do a really big trick and maybe you guys can help us. And the Uglies are eager to help. And she says, we're going to need a lot of sparklers. And here's how you get into New Pretty Town without being caught. All right, chapter 43, Over the Edge. They reach the hill looking over special circumstances by midnight the next night. They're waiting for the signal from the Uglies and wonder if they'll even do it. And David says, isn't it a big risk for them? And Telly says, an Ugly lives for tricks. Haven't you ever done something just because a mysterious stranger intrigued you?
No.
And David replied, I gave my gloves to one once, but it got me into all kinds of trouble.
What?
I think it was romantic. I'm like, what? David? Oh my God.
Yeah, what?
David is glad to be doing something. He thinks if enough Uglies are interested or believe in the smoke, maybe it will exist again. Even if they aren't successful tonight, maybe what they do will give Uglies enough momentum to make something happen, to keep fighting. Through the binoculars, Tally can see over at the pleasure gardens across the river. I guess they're on the same side of the river, aren't they? Yeah.
I don't have any idea.
They are.
I can't like picture where they are.
Okay. Uglyville's right here, and then there's a river, and then it's New Pretty Town.
Yeah, and then where's Middleville?
Over here. Across the river. I actually don't know.
On the same side as Uglyville?
Maybe. No, I don't know. Yeah, it's tough.
God, where's the map? Where's the map?
Send us the map.
Where's the map, Scott Westerfield? Where's the fucking map?
There's one.
No, but not a map of the country. I need the map of the actual
of New Pretty Town and Uglyville in the middle burbs and in the
yes.
Okay, somebody fucking draw
And
it.
I sent you the map. I've seen that map.
Yeah.
But that's not even like
I thought there was a more in-depth one, but I've just not paid much attention to. But maybe not.
I need to look.
There's got to be.
I'm getting annoyed with the non-map situation. I need a visual because I don't get it.
Yeah. A lot of people are visual learners, okay? And we're one of them. We're two of them.
Seriously.
Through the binoculars, Tally can see over at the pleasure gardens sparklers coming to life and forming the words, "The smoke lives." And then a door opens in special circumstances and 3 hover cars take off. It's time. David and Tally ride their hoverboards up the hill, jump off their boards, and come down right over the fence. Nothing happened for so long that Tally thought for sure the bungee jackets weren't going to work and she was going to go splat.
She's going to be
She's like,
be Betty
shit,
Bye.
I'm going splat.
She's going to go to Hebs.
About to be deadsies.
Going to go to Hebbies.
But with a sudden violence, the jacket worked and she was flung head over heels, bouncing. She's bouncing over the roof of one of the buildings, but her momentum is still carrying her too far forward. But she is able to catch a rain gutter, bringing her to a sudden halt. She's hanging off the side of the building, unable to pull herself up with the weight of her knapsack, and the weightlessness of the bungee jacket is disappearing. Then David is above her and he's like, "Need some help?" And he pulls her up under the roof. And he's like, "So you used to do this for fun, Tally? What the H, Tally? That was crazy."
What the HG double hockey sticks, Tally?
Yeah, what the H? They wait for a minute and there's no alarms. No one is coming and they succeeded. Chapter 44, Inside. They jammed the hover car door with nanotech glue that David just had on his person. He just had it with him.
Shout out to David.
Yeah. In case they're caught, they don't want any specials being able to come in easily.
He's the big D right now.
That's right. Then they open an elevator shaft that's on the roof with a power jack. And then she's like, "Be careful for the eye reader not to read your eyes, okay? They can't read your eyes. They'll know that you're not in the system and they'll freak out and they'll come in a second." They look down the shaft and they can tell it's a long way down. Tally sees the green light still lit on her bungee jacket and tells David to wait for her to whistle. And then she jumps into the elevator shaft, which is so crazy. If you jumped like wrong, wouldn't you just come like bouncing around?
Yeah. She says that too.
Does
She's
she?
like, if I touch, if I touch the sides, whatever, I'm gonna just ping pong down.
Oh
and
my
like
gosh.
hit the top of the elevator with a broken neck.
Oh God.
Basically, she says something like
This
that.
book is like at times so silly, goofy, and so light, but then there's like lines like that.
They're
thrown
like in a
It's
silly,
like, oh
goofy
my
mood,
God.
and then they're in a spot where they could literally
Just
die.
go splat. Yeah.
It does. It feels like it genuinely toes the line of like silly, like young adult, like, oh, they're, whatever, going through surgery to
Yeah, but
they're literally could die. But you know what?
I think he does it perfectly. It's
I
so
don't know
good.
why. Maybe if I was younger, like I would feel a little bit more danger, because when I read The Hunger Games, like I felt the danger the whole way.
Oh yeah.
But for this one, like I feel like I should.
Yeah.
But
I
for
feel
some
like that
reason,
too.
like I just don't.
Even reading it for like however many times I've read
The
it.
whole time, I don't feel like
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is like cute, and then I'm like, oh my God, this is dangerous.
Yeah.
The boss died. Like
Yeah.
he's dead.
Yeah. People die
People die.
in this book series.
Lesions happen. Like this is a
it's
real
so
thing.
serious, really
Yeah.
serious stuff.
No,
but
it's actually kind of crazy.
it is interesting how it's portrayed.
Yeah.
And how it's, oh my God, it's so good.
I wonder what the difference is. I kind of like it though, because I feel like it brings you into like a 16-year-old perspective.
Yeah.
Especially in the situation where they're trying to lead you to be like, if you're pretty, you're safe, you're happy, you're, living a life. Like I feel like it's purposeful.
It's
And
so
I do,
good.
intentional. Like he's doing it on
Oh,
purpose.
for sure.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm here.
there.
I'm with
there. Yeah. Even the romance with David, it took me back to when I was 16 and had crushes on boys and how it felt.
you. And we were saying this, that like for all the books that you've, listened to us through, like we can be very sexualized, like when romance calls for it.
Yeah.
But for these books, it's a young love.
Yeah,
Like
it's just-
it's not meant to be sexual. It's meant to be emotional. It's meant to be
Yeah, it's so
passionate.
good.
It's meant to be overwhelming
Yeah.
in just feeling. And it's not meant to be this physical, like strictly physical thing.
Yeah. Which isn't so hard, I feel like, to accomplish, but he does it.
And he does a great job. I
Yeah.
agree. I'm obsessed.
Once on the ground, Tally's about to whistle for David, but stops because she can hear someone talking. She can tell that it's a special, but can't hear what they're saying. And then I guess it's okay because she whistles for David and he comes down with his bungee jacket. They use the power jack to get through the elevator and head down the hall, looking at the room labels. radiology, neurology, magnetic imaging, operating theater 2. They searched some more, and the complex was basically a small, well-equipped hospital. That's where they do the surgeries?
For special circumstances.
Oh, for special circumstances. Okay. They don't find anything useful and decide to go down a set of stairs, which it's only 1 floor deeper. And the rooms down here are labeled interrogation room 1, interrogation room 2, isolation room 1, and disorientation room 1.
And they're at the bottom floor of
at the complex.
Thing. Yeah.
And they think their friends must be down here somewhere. The doors are impossible to get through, though, so they move on. They see another door called long-term detention, but then they hear a familiar voice coming towards them that says, "You're simply not trying hard enough. You just had to convince her that." And then Tally says, "Dr. Cable, I'd like to give myself up." Dr. Cable is so genuinely surprised to see Tally. She's like, "Tally Youngblood," when David whacks her on the side of the head with the power jack.
Good.
And then they're like, "Is she dead?" "No, I don't think so. I think she's fine." And then a voice behind them says, "Dr. Cable, what's going on?" And it's Shay. And she's pretty.
And she's pretty.
She's pretty. She turned. That's where I leave off.
That was crazy.
Oh my God, the reveal.
I was like, she's pretty?
Oh my God, that's it. When I said last week that someone was going to turn pretty, it's Shay.
Wow.
Who knew?
Not me.
Crazy.
Not me. Chapter 45, Rescue. Shay was pretty now. She explained that since she caused the most trouble, Dr. Cable said she could go first. No one else was pretty except for Shay.
Oh.
Tally? It's been like 2 weeks.
10 to 14 days.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah. Tally is surprised that Shay seems happy to see her. Shay is drunk.
She just came from a party.
Like me right now. Because she's just come from a party.
I predict your notes so well.
Why do you do that to me?
I'm so sorry.
Oh my God.
I mean it.
But Tally tears up, realizing how she's betrayed Shay. So tear up right now. Terrible. Terrible.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. You're fired. Just kidding.
No. You're going to have that other girlfriend volleyball take over.
Oh no.
I recorded in my upstairs bedroom.
Get ready for next week when we have a new
co-host. Oh my God. Somebody's been trying to steal Kylie away from me. Okay. If you're listening, you're not listening.
I'm just a hot commodity.
Yeah, I guess so.
Just kidding. I'm just joking.
Gonna be on the podcast in no time.
I know. Does she even read? Who knows? Shay sees Dr. Cable's body on the ground and makes fun of Tally and David for always finding trouble.
You guys are so fucking annoying.
What do you do? You're always just in this shit. Like,
crazy.
Seriously. She says she'll help them because while she may be pretty, she still likes to have fun. When Shay takes Tally aside and says she'll keep Tally's ugly secret, Tally realizes Shay knows about Dr. Cable and her treason. Treason.
Yeah, she knows.
I almost said traitorism again. Do you remember last week when I said that?
No.
It's treason.
That's so
You
funny.
Stupid. Oh my God.
I do remember that now.
I did. Oh God, that's so stupid of me.
That's hilarious.
Then Dr. Cable's tablet started ringing. Shay answered and said that Dr. Cable was busy right now. She couldn't come to the phone.
Dr. Cable? Oh yeah, she's occupied.
Oh my God, I don't even see her. She just
like, hold on
left her
one
tablet. Give me 1 second. Let me just see if I can find her real quick.
So funny.
David uses the power jack to free the other Smokies from the prison. Maddie, Croy, Asterix, and Ride are among them. David asks his mother where his father is. Maddie said there was nothing they could do to help him. David's
like, what do you mean?
David's like,
where is he?
They got to the elevator, dragging Dr. Cable's body, and used her eye to get in.
Oh my
they
God.
like lifted up her
Scanned
head
her
and was
eye.
like, good,
Genius.
because she deserves that. They went to the roof, and Tally said there were 4 hoverboards that they could use, accessible
I
at the
brought
time.
these for you.
They made a plan of who was going to ride what hoverboard together, and then David asked again where Az was. Maddie replies,
Oh no.
I can't. I'm going to cry. Your father's not pretty, David. He's dead.
Oh no. Oh no, ass.
Your father's not pretty, David. He's dead.
Oh no.
He's dead. He's dead.
Okay. Do you want me to cry?
He's dead. He died.
That's all we
He
get.
died.
Oh no, I'm trying to move on. You won't let me.
I can't move on. I can never move on.
Oh, poor Az.
Chapter 46, Getaway. He's dead.
Az is dead.
He's dead. Az is dead. Maddie cuts the tracking devices out of their orange uniforms and instructs everyone to scatter the devices to throw the specials off their track.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Tally called the hoverboards and they were on their way across the lawn. Alarms were ringing. Tally went to get the hoverboards and the specials came in to try and get her. So right now, basically, she's on the lawn. So she jumped down to the lawn using her bungee jacket.
Oh.
So she wasn't on it yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm there.
She managed to get away and Maddie handed her the jumpsuit cloth to throw in random places to throw off the special. Tally and Shay ride one hoverboard, giving them a chance to talk. Shay tells Tally that she doesn't resent Tally anymore for portraying the smoke and stealing David from her. She says that she has to grow up. Tally asks Shay a line of questions to help her see her reasoning doesn't add up. She's got a lesion. Tally hopes that maybe she can talk Shay out of the brain damage, but it doesn't work.
Oh no, it's not that easy.
Unfortunately. When Tally realizes that Shay's damage is irreversible, tears begin to fill her eyes.
The tears are like, what's those eyes feel like? Let me see.
Tears begin to fill her eyes. Shay tries to console her, but Tally says there's nothing that she can do to make her feel better. Chapter 47, Night Alone. Tally and Shay.
What is it called?
Night Alone.
Okay.
Night Alone.
Night Alone.
Tally and Shay made it to the cave first, and then Croy came tumbling in.
He came in so fast.
He came in hot.
And it was behind a waterfall, wasn't it? It was so cool.
Yeah, it was. It was super cool to hide their heat sensors.
Yeah, their heat body
Temperature.
from
Body wave.
sense heat.
And the heat. Croy tells Tally that Maddie and David stayed behind at the ruins to camp alone for the night because they needed to talk. Tally tries to leave, but Croy stops her, saying that Maddie instructs her to stay put. The next morning, Tally wakes up cuddled up to the Shay's body, which is fuller since the operation.
Oh,
she's not so disgustingly skinny. She's not so throw up in her mouth skinny.
Oh, yeah. They filled her out a little bit.
What I'd give. Anyways.
Man.
Shay whines that she is done camping and she'd like to go home. For the love of God.
I don't even have a brush out here. My hair is disgusting.
I'd like to take a hot shower.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tally muses on the fact that it never crosses Shay's mind that she could just like return on her own.
You can just go, Shay. It's fine.
Later, they meet up with David and Maddie at the ruins. David and Tally embrace and talk about Az for a while because he's dead.
He died. It needs to be talked about.
He's dead.
What the fuck?
Maddie reveals that she has stolen some of Dr. Cable's data and her tablet. She also says that she can find a cure for the damage done by the pretty surgery. Tally realizes that Shay may go back to hating her again
Like,
if the lesion is cured.
Yeah, like, oh no, that would be bad.
That would be good, but bad.
Yeah.
Chapter 18, Hippocratic Oath.
Ooh.
While Maddie looks for a cure to reverse the brain damage from the operation, the Smokies recruit more Uglies to the Rusty ruins. Maddie, who once carefully guarded the secret, now gives the Smokies permission to tell the Uglies the truth about the lesion. The specials try to capture the Smokies, but they're scattered throughout the Rusty ruins, which is huge, by the way.
It's
And they're well hidden.
Seattle, right?
It's the city of Seattle.
It's Seattle. It's a giant city.
Yeah. After 20 days, Maddie emerges with the cure.
Dang, that was fast.
That
Maddie.
was so
Good job.
fast. 20
Good for
days
you.
is a little amount of time.
That's impressive.
David's mom, Maddie, and Tally talk to Shay about getting her pretty brain fixed. Shay doesn't want to. She thinks they are all jealous of her pretty face.
Of course, yeah.
She says she is happy the way she is and that they're all crazy for wanting to stay at the rusty fucking ruins.
Yeah. She's like, what are you doing out here? Like,
As
why can't we
ugly
go back?
people.
Yeah.
And they don't want to be pretty. That's literally a crazy thing.
Oh, man.
Tally wants Maddie to do it forcibly, but Maddie won't because they aren't positive that it will work. And it could leave Shay a vegetable if it doesn't.
And she needs a consensual
partner.
Participant in this experiment.
And this is why she won't do it, because she says to Tally that she took a Hippocratic oath. And that Hippocratic oath is to do no harm. I know that because of Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah. She must have seen it.
And that if she forces Shay, she will become just like Dr. Cable. And everyone's like, what? Dr. Cable, what are you talking about? And Maddie's like, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
You don't understand.
That's how Az died. Dr. Cable tried an experimental drug on him to erase his memory.
No.
And he died.
It killed him. Dead.
So he's dead.
In heaven's
Maybe.
He's dead. Spoiler alert, he's dead.
Spoiler alert. He's dead. Tally, overcome with emotion and guilt, offers herself as a willing subject.
I volunteer as tribute.
Thank you, Katniss.
Thank you.
Do you think Katniss and Tally would have gotten along?
For sure.
Not.
No?
I agree.
Oh. Wait.
No.
You don't think they would have?
No, I don't. I think they would have hated each other.
They were both like accidental leading ladies of a rebellion.
Yeah.
You don't think they would have got...
Nope.
Okay.
I have a gut feeling.
All right.
Yeah. They would have had mad beef. I think.
Your gut.
Yeah. Chapter 49, Confessions.
Okay.
Tally offers to go back to the city, turn herself in, and get the operation so she can become a subject for Maddie's cure. David resists, refusing to let Tally destroy herself. Tally realizes Maddie knows the truth somehow, and she confesses to David that she was a spy for Dr. Cable. She says that she came to the smoke as a spy, but ended up changing her mind and inadvertently setting off the locket when she threw it into the fire.
It was an accident.
It wasn't real. At first, David was like, "No, that's not.
You
that's
couldn't
not
have
right.
done that.
There's no
You're
way.
lying.
And
denial.
Maddie's like, "No, for real, dude. That's happened because I know, because Dr. Cable told me and Shay told me. That's why she was there that day."
Oh no.
Yeah.
Damn.
She confirms
Dude,
everything
Maddie
that Tally is saying.
Hates Tally.
Yeah. David, then realizing that everyone is like right, runs out, upset. He's like, "This sucks."
No, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go think.
Tally tries to follow him. She's like, "Wait." But Maddie stops her. She stops her and she says, "Don't go." There's a cold look in her eyes. And Tally realizes that she blames her for Az's death.
Of course she does. Of course she does. Of course.
That's a bummer.
Tally
is grateful, though, that she let her tell David herself. Maddie tells her to go now before she or David changes her mind. Tally agrees to go, but vows that David will pick her up after the operation.
Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna go to New Pretty. I'm gonna go turn pretty, but David has to be the one to come get me. Okay,
yeah,
that's what's gonna happen.
If he forgives her, of course.
Yeah.
Chapter 50.
Okay.
Down the river.
Down the river.
Tally writes a letter to herself so she knows that she gave consent to take the pills before the operation.
Yes.
Since she was never taught handwriting, she has Shay write the note.
Yes.
Shay is relieved that Tally is having the operation and heading back to town.
Yeah.
Shay says that she feels responsible for Tally still being ugly, and that is why she's staying back with her at the ruins. Shay is excited for them to become pretties and rule the social scene back at home because Tally has all the best stories.
You know they will.
You know what? She was a smoky and they're going to get invited to parties.
That's how you get popular in New Pretty Town. You got to have stories.
And what about Paris? We haven't heard about him for a while.
Yeah, he'll come back.
Sure. Tally wonders if thinking about her feelings for David will prevent the operation from taking hold of her brain. As they reach the city, a warden stops them, confused that an ugly and a pretty are traveling together. He's like, this is literally not cool.
Shines the light on Tally's face, and she's ugly, and she's like, "What are you doing out here?" And then shines to Shay, and she's pretty. And she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry,
honey, you're literally beautiful.
Oh, you're fine. Yeah,
oh God, you're fine.
What are you doing here, ugly?
You stupid ugly." And when they see the warden at the end, Tally says, "Hi, I'm Tally Youngblood. Make me pretty."
Make me pretty.
And that's the end of
the book. Okay, what did you think about it? I was asking that rhetorically to our listeners.
And what did you think about it?
Great, agree. Okay.
Yeah, we're on the same page. What's next?
What's your quote of the week?
I have 2 quotes of the week.
Okay, cool.
What you do, the way you think, makes you beautiful. Or maybe they didn't want you to realize that every civilization has a weakness. There's always one thing we depend on. And if someone takes it away, all that's left is some story in a history class. That is 100% from the second part of the book. And I've triple checked.
Yeah. Yeah. That was in my chapter. So good job. Good job.
Thank you.
Was last week you picked it from the second half?
I don't even want to talk about it.
Okay. What was your first quote again? It was so good. You went through it so fast.
What you do, the way you think, makes you beautiful.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Mine was, haven't you ever done something just because a mysterious stranger intrigued you?
I love that. I do love that.
I gave my gloves to one once, but it got me into all kinds of trouble.
Yes.
And then my other one was nature at least didn't need an operation to be beautiful. It just was.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that's oh my gosh. Okay, so I love nature.
I've been editing podcast episodes, and I realized that there was a reason that I was talking about like Gregory, and I think this applies to Uglies as well.
Okay.
Just in terms of like in general, and I didn't know how to word it, but now I do.
Oh, okay.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yes.
Okay. So, and I think this is an important message to everyone out there, right? And I think this is important the way that Tally sees David,
Yeah.
and she thinks that he's so beautiful, even though everyone is like considered ugly if they haven't had this operation.
Mm-hmm.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and I think it's so important because if someone will find you beautiful, no matter what,
Yeah.
someone out there for you will think you're beautiful.
Yes.
Not your best friend, not anyone else, you. And they will choose you because they think that you personally are beautiful, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Never settle for less than you deserve.
Okay.
I don't know where that came from. I don't know.
You were
where I
trying to
was going.
shit on Gregory again.
I was trying to shit on Gregory.
But you know what? Gregory fell in love with Lucy's personality before his looks, and I
Beauty
am
is in
okay
the eye
with
of the
that.
beholder.
And you know what? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
You know what?
But you know, and you see it here though. Like you do. You truly do.
Okay,
This
so
is
Tally
what's so important.
does call ugly. She does call David ugly at first, but it suits him. Okay.
Yeah,
did.
because I think she's trained to see anything,
Yeah, and
anyone that has not had the operation as ugly.
And she does
right?
that throughout.
But if we're
That's
in a
consistent.
situation where like this day and age where no one like, okay, people have operations,
We're all
of
ugly.
course.
Oh yeah.
But like for the most part, not everyone is having the same operations as the uglies. In my opinion, everyone has their different perspectives of what beauty is.
Yeah.
My type is different than your type.
Oh, sure.
It's different than the girl over there's type. And it's the same thing for men. Like everything is different.
Yeah.
So it's like there is going to be someone out there that you are exactly their type.
Yeah.
So never
Isn't that
settle
wonderful? Isn't that beautiful?
for that's so beautiful. That's a
Yes.
beautiful thing that we have.
It's wonderful.
A choice, truly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's what these books do. Oh, I love it.
I love that. I
Oh,
just
there's so
never wasn't
much.
able to word that in the last one, the one that I was editing, which was Gregory Part 2, and
Yeah.
I think it applies here.
Yeah,
I do.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. It's not about, and you know what? And I feel like I've known a guy for several years, and maybe this is like something that I should say.
What is it?
But you know what I mean? Like I fall for people's personalities before their looks.
I agree. And I'm the
And
same type
and their
of way.
personalities make them more attractive to me.
Well,
Make them physically more attractive.
But even if we look at it from a very basic perception of just like celebrity crushes, right? Where neither of us could ever have, right?
Yeah.
And we look at your celebrity crush type versus my celebrity crush. It's probably so different.
Yeah.
Even just taking out people
Yeah,
that we
that's
know. Do you know what I'm saying?
that's
People that are
just-
unattainable, people that are like whatever. They're
All
so
physical.
different.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Like my
Oh.
celebrity crushes are based off of like interviews or like the characters that they choose to play or the projects that they choose to be in. Like my stuff is based off of that.
Yeah.
Um
Sometimes
more
mine
so
are just
than
physical,
just their physical.
because I can't get to know a celebrity on that deep of a
No,
level.
and no one can.
No,
But it's just
that's
based
not what I
off the
mean.
personality
Yeah.
things
I'm
that
not
we're
gonna
seeing.
watch interviews of anybody.
Yeah, TikTok is like one of those.
I know our TikTok FYP is like
Is so
coded to you.
Totally, totally.
Love Island couple.
It is 100%.
It's fine. It's interesting. It's fine.
Like for me, like it's like we see Matt Smith. I've seen interviews of him, and I'm like, oh my god, he's so charismatic. He's so like his personality is so
I love charisma,
outgoing. But some people will see Matt Smith from face value and say, I don't think he's very attractive. Yeah. I think,
and both are fine. They
absolutely
don't have to.
stunning. But like other people would be attracted to like Henry Cavill, who is physically very attractive,
but as a person,
I personally wouldn't touch him
with a 10-foot pole.
And that's just me. Like he's just not my type at all.
Right. And that's fine.
Even like if like he's just genuinely not my type.
Right. Oh yeah.
Or like a Ryan Reynolds, without the rumors, not my type.
Without the rumors,
he's not. Like he's literally not my type.
It's hard. It's hard for me. Because I've seen these people like act and stuff and talk in interviews. So I do.
You take it, right?
Yeah. So you take that into account for how attractive they are.
Ryan Reynolds not my type.
Physically, he's hot, but if you hear him talk and he's married, okay, we can't get into this.
Do you know what? Who's my type right now after the Olympics? Do you want to know my Olympic athlete type? TJ DeFalco.
I was gonna say, let me guess.
Micah Christensen. Yeah, 100% Micah Christensen.
That was so fun to watch. Oh my gosh.
TJ DeFalco, Micah Christensen, Taylor Averill. Those are my three. Oh my god, Taylor Averill. Oh my god.
Which one has all the tattoos? He has like a tattoo that says like
Taylor Averill.
Okay, I love him. Okay, we're gonna get
He's
married.
the middle. Yep, I'm obsessed. He's so good. He's so good.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyways.
He's got a personality. Vibes.
Okay.
10,000%.
Moving on. Let's give this a finish. Who would you be in the world of Uglies? The whole book. It doesn't matter.
I would be Shay. Yeah. To be honest, and this is facts. I mean, sense. I would be the Delulu friend that blames everything on everyone else and then turns pretty.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude, Shade never changes. I picked Sussy, which is one of the Uglies that they recruited to.
Oh, I love that.
To like the sparklers of the new Smoke Lives. Yeah, I would just be an Ugly. Like, sure, I'll help you. Maybe this will be good for me in the future.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm a main character.
That's crazy. You're Shay. Wow. I'm actually Shay.
That's crazy.
Who would you want to be?
I would. Okay, this is gonna be so controversial.
Oh my gosh.
Paris.
Wow.
And I'm dead ass. I'm so serious. Give me a situation where, like, I don't even care. Give me the lesion, make me pretty, and give me parties. I don't even care. Okay. Like, I don't want to know.
No, that's totally fine. I picked Shay for that reason, but I feel like Paris would be such a better option because
he never knew anything. He was never a part of the smoke. He's never and any other ambition. He just turned pretty, and that was what he did.
But yeah, maybe I would want to be Shay. I would want to know what's out there, and then also turn me pretty. Give me those lesions. Make me stupid. Let me live.
I don't even care anymore. I don't even care.
I love it. I feel like that's different from your take last week.
What was it? I don't even remember.
I don't either, but I feel like you weren't as eager to be pretty.
Oh, I'm so eager to be pretty.
Yeah, me too.
Day in, day out. Give it to me.
Me too. Who's your favorite character in the whole book? This is a good one.
It's so hard because everyone is like likable and unlikable. In my opinion, like there's probably the Uglies that helped. All of them.
Those are your favorite?
Yeah. Yeah, because there's nothing unlikable about them. Like they're young, they helped, they did what they needed to do. Maybe Croy, like, would be the only one that I could say.
Like Croy. You like Croy. I picked David because his perspective from growing up in the smoke and like the role that he plays within the smoke, I think is just so interesting. And maybe like most interesting player.
I do like him. I definitely think he's the most interesting, but I don't like the way that he kind of played Shay. In general, I just can't.
He's a kind of a fuckboy. Oh my god, is he a fuckboy?
Which is it like fair because he's 18 years old? Like,
yeah,
it is what it is. But at the same time, it's like these are real people's lives, and I just I can't get over fuckboys doing fuckboy things to women that really just like Here's my thing, and this is going to be off topic a little bit. Because women will take fuckboys fucking up their lives and ruining them, and they'll still come back and be open to love and relationships and hope into relationships in the future and things like that. A fuckboy or a man in general, a boy, whatever, will get his heart broken one time, and they'll use that as an excuse to play women for the next 20 years. Like, it's so sickening.
I mean, that's why like serial killers who target women exist. Because they were rejected one time from a girl in high school,
or they get played one time.
Oh my God.
It's like, it's sickening,
and it's scary.
It's like, you know what? Fuck you. Because what if I became a serial killer because I fucking got fucked over one time? Like, get out of here. I hate it. I hate it. But anyways, that's why I'll never accept a fuckboy in just like the generalization of like, he's young and what. So do women. But they'll fuck over one man, and then all of a sudden he's literally like ruining women's lives for the next 20 years.
Oh my God,
like,
that's so insane.
That's so gross.
It's so true.
It's gross.
Yeah.
Double standard. And that's why I can't. David is like a little bit of an ick to me.
Oh my gosh. So my thing with him, yeah, that's not great. It's not great because like obviously he did have something with Shay, right? Because he was touching her. Something
for sure.
We don't know what, but
yeah.
He saw Tally and was like, I'm gonna move in on that. That's great.
100%.
So yeah,
and didn't even close things off with Shay. Like, he didn't even have a conversation.
Right?
With
He just
Shay,
started
ever.
ignore. He ghosted her in the smoke.
In the smoke when she literally lives there. No,
they both
crazy.
live in this. Oh my God, yeah,
He
that's
handled
so
it
true.
terribly.
That's so
terribly.
True. Oh my God,
oh,
that's hilarious. Okay, wait? Who's your least favorite character? David.
No,
Okay.
because he is young. Like everyone, listen. I don't love it, but they are all so young.
And
like,
it's, it's for the story, and it's fine.
Yeah, they are young. These things happen. People get their hearts broken. I just can't stand the men that get their heart broken and then like never have a committed relationship for the rest. They blame all the relationships they cheat on their women with.
I
for
can
the rest
never recover from this emotionally.
100%. So like, we'll see if David ever bounces back from anything ever. So not him yet, but I would still say Dr. Cable.
Okay. I actually didn't write anything down because I feel like everyone had their role. And no one was like Dr. Cable's just doing her job for the city.
Sure,
and
but
like,
she doesn't have a lesion, so she knows what's going on. So she's a villain.
Yeah, but like she's doing it for the sake of like the livelihood of the world and the city and keeping everyone safe. And so, I mean, it's like one of those villains that are like they're doing the thing that they think is right, but not that everyone thinks is right. Like Thanos.
Every villain thinks that they're doing something right, but that doesn't make them any less of a villain.
Yeah.
Well, to them, even if it's just benefiting them, they're still doing what they think is right.
Right. Okay.
But even if they think it's right, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Hybern, the king of Hybern.
I was gonna say Amarantha.
Amarantha.
Crazy.
Was avenging her sister and doing what she thought was right for her side.
Yeah, but she was also just like a massive cunt.
Yeah, the king of Hybern was doing right by his own people, not humans, but Fae, and that's because he genuinely thought.
Which makes villains interesting, but it doesn't make me hate. I don't know. I just don't I dislike Dr. Cable. Right?
Sure,
but I just don't.
She's still a villain though.
It's just of course. I never said she wasn't.
Yeah. But you don't like she's not your least favorite character?
No, I don't have one. I feel like if they're just also interesting, I'm just here for it.
Anyone that has knowledge of something like this going on and knowing this and taking away someone's freedoms, liberties, all of those things, how can anyone in any state of mind know that that's not the wrong thing? Which is why Dr. Cable will always be like not just a villain, like horribly wrong.
Okay.
Horribly wrong.
Dude, it's so good. Oh my God.
But also make me pretty.
You're going to love the next two books. Oh my gosh.
But also make me pretty.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Give me the lesion.
But also like give me the lesion, make me pretty. At the same time. Please. Get me out.
Get me out.
Get me out of this.
Oh my God. It's so true though.
I don't want to think anymore.
I don't want to know anything.
I don't want to know anything.
I just want to drink champagne and, go to costume parties. Okay. All right. What do you rate this book? 1 to 5
Oh
stars.
shit, I forgot we rate this one.
All right, think about it.
I like it a lot. So I'm going to say it's a 3.8.
3.8.
Yeah, that's high and I like it. I'm really liking it.
Okay. Okay. I was just trying to think of your other ratings, but I can't.
They're yeah.
Yeah, mine was a 4.5, which is as high as you can get for me without being a 5.
Here's my thing though.
Okay.
Here's my thing. It's the reason I have it at 3.8. I do enjoy a book where I like mentally would want to be in that world.
Yeah.
And like I get
last
kind of
week
lost
you didn't want
in
to
that
be
world.
there.
I don't want to be here. I don't. Like I genuinely don't. If I was in this world, make me pretty.
Make
but
me
like
pretty, give me the legion.
sitting where I am right now, I
Yeah.
don't want to be in this world. I would literally like I would hate it. I would hate
so funny.
knowing that I was in this world to that world. I would hate every second of that life. But if I was in that world, make me pretty.
Oh my god.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Kind of. I said I think it's great. It's interesting. I want to live in the smoke with the Smokies. I also want to be a pretty.
Oh my god, living in the smoke in the fucking
They make
wilds?
it sound like it's fun. They make it sound fun. Tally is like having a great time and she falls in love.
She has
and
to
it's
work
great.
every day. That
Yeah.
sounds terrible.
She's getting strong.
Like hard labor.
She's getting really strong.
Oh, that sounds like my nightmare.
The book is well written. It has the perfect amount of post-apocalyptic dystopianness, but I also want to be there. Like I don't want to be in like a lot of like post-apocalyptic novels.
yeah. So I agree with everything
Yeah.
except that I want to be there. It's
I would
written
be
well.
there.
It's very intriguing. It's
You know what I mean?
very creative.
So when Tally went to the smoke, I was like, no, I want to be pretty. I want to turn pretty. But then when she went to the smoke, I was like, okay,
I could be
here.
at the smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't be at
You know
the
what
smoke.
I mean? Yeah. Yeah.
That's my
Well,
one
that
thing.
tracks
Like
for your
I wouldn't.
personality.
I was like, that's the reason I wouldn't want to be ugly for the rest of my life is not because I wouldn't mind being ugly. Like I'd be fine. Like I could be ugly, whatever. I couldn't live in the wilderness.
Yeah.
Get me out of that.
Just take me back to the city. Give me the lasers.
Where's the warm showers and the toilet paper? Because I can't do this.
Yeah, that is all the latrines.
Oh my god, fuck my life.
No.
What is it even as a latrine?
A ditch in the ground.
Oh god, kill me.
A ditch.
Kill me. There's bugs. Oh my god, I wouldn't do well.
No, they come. All the uglies bring bug spray and suntan lotion. It's all good.
Lord
and
help us.
we learned something else about the latrines in the next book that makes it more palatable. Anyways, the reason it's not 5 stars for me is because it doesn't elicit like the emotion that I really want from a 5-star book. But
I agree.
it's good. I love it. Love it. Hearing the uglies.
I want to cry.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Move on.
I was going to say, I read this book literally in 2006 or 2007. I still love it and I still adore it. I think it holds up. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Which is like not easy for a book. Well, how long was 2007? 15 years?
A lot of time.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's
I
too
don't
much
do
math. You're asking
I
me
don't
to
do
do math. I
but
can't do math.
you know what? That's impressive. So snaps for Scott Westerfeld.
Love that.
All right. Next week, we are reading the second book in the series, which is Pretties, through chapter 18, which is called Hospital. So once you get to Hospital, if you're reading along, stop. So yeah, we're going to New Pretty Town.
Thank God.
Dude, we're pretty.
I'm so excited.
It's so fun
I'm so excited. Make
for
me
a
pretty.
little bit.
Make me pretty.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Please go rate 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. It helps people discover us. If you have any fan art and fan fiction, I think for this one it would be so fun. But the movie is coming out, so we're gonna get some visuals.
If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please email us at litlibationspodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, and that's it. We'll see you next week when we're in New Pretty Town and we're pretty.
Bye.
Bye.